welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another edition of the StarCraft Evolution Full Championship Group D. Oh boy, it's great to be here, great to be back once again. This time, I'm on my own. Of course, I'm your host, VIP, joined by my plushies, not by Yaku of the Zaku. Shout out to Yaku, by the way. He has been joining me throughout the entire week, covering Group A, Group B, and Group C as well. But that is usually at a different time slot, a different time zone. Here we are a little bit earlier in the day, or later, depending on where you are in the world, covering the finale of the group stage. Oh boy, here we go. So Group D is upon us. Again, we do have a very jam-packed schedule over the next couple of days, which is why we do have to squeeze in the remainder of the group stage here and now. So I do apologize for that, I'm sure Yaku is going to be tuning in, or at least catching up on the results, catching up on the VODs, and I'm ready, I am excited here. Again, it's been an amazing group stage so far. For those that are curious, what is the StarCraft Evolution League? This is of course the main event of the year for a mod for StarCraft Evolution. It is a mod that brings together StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War. Not necessarily like a carbon copy of StarCraft Brood War. Of course, it is in the engine of SE2, and it has also been adjusted and patched to try to balance the game to go up against and go head-to-head with SE2 as well. So we do have regular patches and regular updates to the mod, and it has all come to this, to the Fall Championship, or the Winter Championship, depending on how you look at it. regardless, it is great to be here, great to be back. Again, this is the final group. We've had 3 groups already. This is the final group to determine which final 2 players make it into the playoff bracket. For those that are curious, the playoffs are going to be played in less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours is going to be the quarterfinals, followed by the semifinals and grand finals the day afterwards. We will not be able to cast the playoffs live, unfortunately. We're going to be covering them also via replays. I believe the playoffs are covered by Beomorph. I believe Beomorph is going to be the official English caster. We are going to be covering other events. We have as always, we're going to be casting, but casting something else, and we're going to be going over the Fall Championship via replays like 8 hours later or so, like not even 24 hours after the event takes place. We're going to be live here on the channel at this time slot. Actually, at this very time slot is when we're going to be live tomorrow and the day after for catching up on all of SEL. So that is the plan. Meanwhile, as we jump into Group D, what exactly is Group D? I got you, Bobby. I got you. So switch our scenes over and have a look at the group itself. Here we go. We have 4 amazing players. We have 2 Protoss, I said 2 Protoss. One of each race. Technically, one of each race. We have a Protoss, we have a Zerg, we have a Terran, and we have a random. All things balanced, as they should be, Bobby, as they should be. I'm just catching up in the chat. Shout out to Pekoeta in the chat. I see 16 Swords Senseki, Kuro, C Grail as well, BBQ. Shout out to Angry, by the way. Oh, don't want to gloss over it. Big shout out to Angry SC. Babi share my Jendobre. Thank you so Jenkuya, Babi. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream, hope you had a great ladder session, hope you had a great time, and welcome one and all to the StarCraft Evolution League Full Championship. Again, we have our 4 players here. We have a Protoss, Zerg, Random, and Terran. We have Dark, Ateshi, Ubu Thermal, and Hon Mono. Now, I should reiterate, I should actually emphasize, Ubu Thermal, he's only half random. He's only half random. What does that mean? What's a half random? He is only random as SC2. So for those that are curious, in this league, depending on, you know, I guess your opponent in a way, you might play SC2 race, you might play a Brood War race. For SC2, Euthermal is rolling random. For Brood War, Euthermal is rolling Terran. So Euthermal, he is solely playing Terran whenever he has to play Brood War, but whenever he has to play SC2, that is where he can roll the dice and play random. So half a random player. Half random, half Terran. There you go for Euthermal. Otherwise, you have one of each race. And this is going to be an interesting group here because, from my understanding, Euthermal has been playing a lot of StarCraft Evolution. He has enjoyed it quite a lot. He's been enjoying himself. I mean, in general, it's just a really fun kind of game mode. And I think he even expressed his own opinion recently, a couple of days ago, that out of all the new RTSs that have been coming out, Battle Aces, Zero Space, Stormgate, Immortals, Gate of Pyre, Euthermal, he's enjoying SC Evo more than all of those. So he's already expressed his opinion that he is enjoying it much more than all the other upcoming RTSs, but we'll see if that opinion is translated into his performance in the group stage. We shall see. Coming into this, I do favor Honmono quite a bit. I know Honmono, actually, now that I think about it, I was going to say Honmono has been dedicating a lot of time to StarCraft Evolution. I've heard that Thermal has been dedicating a lot of time to this mod as well, but I haven't seen it come into fruition. He has not played in the weekly events, so from my understanding, it's only been custom games, so I don't know how good he is in this game mode. So I'm curious how Thermal performs. Otherwise, I'm going to be favoring Honmono to make out of the group. Ateshi has also been putting in a lot of work. Ateshi, he recently played in a show match, a PvP show match, where we had a group stage with Ateshi, with Rebellion, with Lunacy, with a lot of the top Protoss players in StarCraft Evolution, just to not balance, but just to test balance changes and try to find out the solution to trying to balance and trying to patch PvP specifically, and Ateshi came out on top. So Ateshi is a very strong player in his own right, so I do think he can achieve quite a bit here, but the big question mark is going to be Dark. Big question mark is going to be Dark here. Oh, as we do enter this. Also, I should also mention as well, be very careful with the link in the chat. Spoilers are there. As a reminder, we are covering this by replays. I have no idea what happened. If you do spoil anything in the chat, you will be timed out or banned at the worst, but we of course are going to be going over the group stage here and now, and again the playoffs thereafter as well. So just bear that in mind and be careful when it comes to looking at spoilers in the chat, or going for the link in the chat, I should say. So do be careful, as spoilers are there. Otherwise, here we go. We're going to be jumping in. And again, sorry, I was just in the middle of saying that Dark is an enigma, right? Dark, he's an enigma. I don't think he's played too much of StarCraft Evolution. I believe he played in the Soup event. There was like an Afrika TV / Soup, like kind of, I wouldn't say show match, but like an invitational. There was an invitational that was held like 2 or 3 months ago at this point, and all the top Korean Brood War and SE2 players were invited. Dark was among them. So Dark, he has played this mode in the past, but outside of that show match, outside of that invitational, I don't think he's actually played too much of it. So I'm curious how he plays on the fly. I'm very curious here. We kind of got a glimpse of that yesterday, casting Skillless and Spirit, where it did seem like they were kind of playing off the cuff and trying to like adjust on the fly to their opponents and try to figure things out in real time, which was really fascinating to see, to some success and to some failings. I'm curious if Dark is similar. For now, though, we have our series. We have our first series here. It is going to be that PvZ between Dark and Ateshi. Game 1, going to be on Troy. Let's go. Let us go. It's all good. It's all good when it comes to... I mean, you can post a link, just warning of spoilers if you do go to that link, as it does have results already of the group. But here we go. We are jumping into game number 1. Here we go. As a reminder as well, this is a GSL group, not round robin. And here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, of Troy, we have the Brood War Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss. It is Ateshi. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, the SC2 Zerg from South Korea representing Talent Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. Our PvZ is upon us. And again, we're going to be loading into Troy. Troy is a map that has been ported over from Brood War. It did originate in Brood War, has been brought over to SE2 or SE Evo. And what is this map? This is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, bottom left, top left and bottom right. Each corner of the map is a possible spawn location, so it is on our players to figure out what exactly is going on. So Dark is going hatch first, likewise as you do see Ateshi going for Nexus first as well. Makes sense to cut corners, makes sense to be greedy, because the chances your opponent going for an all-in is quite low. Not impossible, but it is a big gambit, it's a big gamble to try to be hyper aggressive on this map. We do see Dark, he sends his first overlord towards top right, second overlord towards bottom, no, never mind. Ooh, okay. Usually Zerg players will send out both their overlords to scout, but looks like Dark, looks like Dark is going to be keeping that overlord here over his natural to make sure that he doesn't get cannon rushed or that he doesn't get cheesed. So Dark is only moving out with the singular move out here on the right hand side. Meanwhile, shout out to the other observers, of course, in other languages. They were covering this. I believe Fruit Bunker is that Funka? I want to say that's Funka. I can't quite recall. But for now, we do see Ateshi scouting bottom left. Confirms Dark is nowhere to be found. And Ateshi with the Probe Scout will get eyes on Dark. So he'll finally piece it together here. Overlord likewise, barely does not spot the probe. And for all Dark knows, it could be a cross-spawn scout or a diagonal scout. Oh boy. Could be horizontal, could be diagonal. Dark does not know. Not yet. As Dark is going into his pool, into his gas geyser as well, Dark just happily droning. Likewise, Ateshi settling into his own build as well. Now, when it comes to this matchup, when it comes to PvZ, we do often see two different kind of tech routes, which shouldn't be too surprising to you, but either charged on Archon or Dragoon into Disruptor, but typically Dragoon-based openers are very much so commonplace here in this matchup, and it should be the direction that Ateshi does head in. From the side of Dark, I'm curious how he approaches this. We have seen some success when it comes to Roach Ravager-based all-ins, but on a map as large as Troy, and with cross spawns like this, I mean, I feel like we might have to head towards a longer game state as Ateshi opens up Stargates. Okay, that I was not expecting. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of Ateshi, and I'm curious if we're going to be opening up with a Scouts, and the goal, I would imagine, with a Scout-based opener would be to hunt down the Overlords. To hunt down the Overlords here, to chase them down. Same with the Corsair-based opener as well. I would imagine that's the direction that Ateshi is going in, but this is something that we actually have not seen too often here in SEL. If you've been tuning in, I mean, for those that are curious, we have been casting SEL every 2 weeks when it comes to the weekly Open Cups. Every single edition we have been casting live. Likewise, we also cast the qualifier for this event as well. And it is quite rare to see a Stargate opener. And there it is. It is the Scout. The Scout is on the way. For those that are curious, the Scout is a very unique unit. Has some pretty good anti-air. And can do a great job at hunting down Overlords. It does shoot down. It can shoot ground-based units as well, but the anti-ground attack is very low. It's very low here for the Scout. So really, it's mainly just used to hunt down Overlords and to provide or to maintain map control. Kind of like a Phoenix opener. Meanwhile, it's an all-in. Dark, I assumed he was going to be going for a more macro game because of how large the map is, but no, Dark, he doubles down. We have a Nidus Worm on the way. It's going to be a Link Queen Nidus all-in out of Dark. No third base to be seen, not yet, as it's now being taken, but that should just be for Larva. Now, the problem with this, though, as Dark is getting ready for a Nidus-based all-in, is that he needs vision, and the vision is being denied. Overlords are being hunted down by the Scouts. That's already one Overlord going to be falling. Meanwhile, my apologies, I didn't really even realize it's double Stargate Mass Scout. Ooh, that's a little bit scary. That's scary for Ateshi, because on the one hand, yes, he's hunting down Overlords, which is good. He already found one Overlord. He's denying the Nidus Worm, but defensively, against Lings and Queens, the Scout is not really going to do much. And here we go, the Nidus Worm gets thrown down. The Scout, we just mentioned, has very, very, I would even say pitiful anti-ground attack. Like, it doesn't really do much damage at all to ground-based units. And now he knows. Now he sees what's going on. And now it might just be too late. You can see they're tickling the Nidus Worm. Yeah, Lings, they have arrived. Queens pop out as well. We have +1 air attack on the way. More Scouts, but alas, that's not what Ateshi needs. It looks like Ateshi was getting ready for a longer game. Say the Queens are pushing forward. The shield batteries have this, but there is no shield battery overcharge. The shield battery is running out of energy. Is running out. And yeah, the Scouts are going down. The Queens, they overpower the Scouts. And there's just so many more Lings behind us. The Queens are a little bit thick. They do plug up those Lings, but there we go. They do float on through. Another Scout going to be falling. Ooh, does fall. 2 more Scouts left. And you can see here that, again, the Scouts are not really helping. Not really helping here at all. We have 4 shield batteries. Oh my god, that's a lot of shield batteries finishing up. And that is actually going to be buying time and forcing Dark back. Oh, never mind. I forced him back for a moment just because there's a Nidus Worm. A Nidus Worm into the main base. Lings, they flood in. The wall has been broken. The main base is compromised. He's going for the kill. He's going for the Nexus and the Stargates. Queens, they pop in. GG gets called. And Dark will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Dark will take a lead in the series, and again, it did look like Ateshi was getting ready for a longer game state. Scouts, as you can imagine, they do an amazing job at gaining map control. They give you map control by hunting down Overlords. They are able to, of course, as their name suggests, scout their opponent as well, get a read what's going on. as he was getting ready for a longer game, his ground army or his main army was lacking because he wasn't really expecting an all-in. This is also a little bit on Ateshi because the reality is that he didn't scout it across the map. He wasn't aware if there was a third base, he wasn't aware of the saturation, he wasn't aware of what Dark was up to. What I will say though is that I do think it is a little bit more difficult to scout as Brood War Protoss. Like when I think of Protoss scouting in PvZ, I think of the Adept, right? The Adept is very fast because it shades across the map, it's very nimble, it's very mobile, and typically in a standard SE2 PvZ, you have the Adept and its role early on is to get eyes on the gas mining, on the saturation, and on the third base timing. You know, that's the role of the Adept, and it does it quite well, and it leads into the Oracle, and the Oracle, you know, also its job is to zoom quite quickly across the map to also scout as well. These are tools that Brood War Protoss does not have. And you have to rely on other units. You have to rely on like an early Zealot move out or earlier probe scouts to check for third base locations. You'd have to approach things in a bit of a different way, and Deshi did kind of skip all of that, right? He cut all those corners and was punished. And with that, GG, well played. Dark takes a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. As we are getting into the rest of the series, I do see someone asking in the chat, are we casting the qualifier for Master Coliseum? Do you even have to ask? I mean, of course we are. What do you mean? Aye. The answer to that, of course, as we always cast all the qualifiers for Master Coliseum. We have done so for the last couple of years, and we will continue to do so this year as well. Always, Mackie, always. As we are getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Clan Akutan. Oh, do I want to know what that is? Oh no. It is Ateshi. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brood War Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Talon Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. Here we go. So Dark is now forced to play Brood War. For those that are curious, it is loser's pick. It is going to be loser's pick. So Ateshi, upon losing game 1, he has chosen to play SE2 Protoss instead. And this means that Dark will have to take a different approach, and I'm most curious as to how Dark does approach this build. Again, it is very common in StarCraft Evolution for the Brood War Zerg player to go into an earlier macro hatch, to rush into Ling speed and to play Ling Hydra. Is Dark aware of the meta? Is he aware of the builds? I'm sure he did put some time and effort into learning and practicing, but how much experience does he have? There it is, macro hatch has been thrown down. So far, it looks like a standard opener. Looks like standard opener so far in the Dark. Meanwhile, Ateshi back home going for the Gate Expand into his tech of choice. Again, with SE2 Protoss, we should be seeing like a Stargate opener into Oracles with some Adept Harass. I'm curious if Ateshi mixes it up and maybe tries to embrace something like Adepts. Now, we have seen Glaive Adepts wreak havoc. If you recall, we did cast Shin's group earlier this week. We casted Shin versus Mana, and Mana did actually slip Shin up, did take a map off of him with Glaive Adepts when Shin was playing when he was playing Brood War Zerg. Again, Brood War Zerg have a bit of a harder time keeping up with Adept Harass. The reason for this, no queens. No queens, no roaches. With Ling Hydra, as you can imagine, Adepts can have a much easier time trading and wreaking havoc. I'm not saying it's an insta-win or anything like that, but it is much more difficult to deal with as the defending Brood War Zerg, so we'll see if Ateshi does embrace that or if he goes for a different direction. For now, Stalker first. That's a tell. Stalker first is very uncommon here. This does tell us that Ateshi is more concerned with denying vision and denying scouting than he is with scouting his opponents. I mentioned before, I was talking about how, you know, some of the tools of SE2 Protoss are early Adept scouting, and I mean, that's why with the Adept first, that means that Ateshi is going to be in the dark as to what's going on, and he's more concerned with what he's doing. And there it is, Robo. So this all lines up. This all lines up. Stalker first, denies scouting, which means he's not going for a standard opener. This feels like a 2-base all-in. This looks like a 2-base all-in here. Robo into Gateway. Now this could be an Immortal Sentry all-in. Could be like a bit of a Soul Train. This could be for a fast Warp Prism into a Slow Lot all-in. That is a bit of an old school build from a couple of years ago, but still very much so viable. I'm curious if he goes Immortal or Warp Prism first. I'm curious where Ateshi takes us. Now, Dark, upon seeing the Stalker, this doesn't mean that it's going to be an all-in, but it's like a big possibility. You know, it's definitely suspect here from Ateshi. as Dark is going for extra hatcheries. He's going for his tech of choice. We spoke earlier, Ling Hydra is the go-to. There it is, Hydra's on the way. Now, what I'm concerned by is that Dark, if you noticed, no Ling speed. He skipped Ling speed here to rush into earlier Hydras, so bold move out of Dark. It does mean that he's going to have earlier Hydras to defend. That is true, as Hydra speed is on the way, but it also means that... Oh, sorry. Yeah, Hydra speed is on the way, but it also means that there are no Lings to keep up, which means I'm still, like, concerned here for Dark. Second Overlord comes in, he confirms. He sees everything. He sees the Robo, he sees all the gateways as well. He knows. He knows that he has to focus on defense. I would love to see some sunken colonies. I'd love to see some colonies, some sunken colonies morphed in to help defend, to help keep up. As Hydras are amassing. Dark, he's cutting workers at 40. He's on 3 gases. 3 gas saturation should be enough to allow for Hydras to build up. And there it is. We have the colonies on the way. 1 may not cut it though. We're going to need more than that. Meanwhile, Stalkers are moving out. Then he comes out Warp Prism, no Immortal, so it's going to be a Prism and I believe a 4-gate Vanilla Stalker all in on 2 bases. And there it is. We have Stalkers morphing in. We have some Slow Lots as well to help buffer, to help tank. Meanwhile, Hydras are amassing. There's going to be 1 creep colony. That's a good amount of Hydras. And we'll see how this dynamic plays out here. These are going to be speed Hydras, thankfully, as speed is finishing up. And that's a lot of Hydras, a lot of Slowlings as well. Dark taking this very seriously, and he has amassed quite an army. And I feel like Dark should be okay. Again, if Dark had droned up his 3rd, I'd be concerned. But he didn't. He did not drone up his 3rd base. He did not saturate. He's massing up Hydras, and he should be ready for this. As Adeshi does poke in. Dark collapsing forward. It does sort of step forward here with those Hydras. Does take down all of the Zealots at least. And now he's going for the Stalkers. Trying to collapse on those Stalkers. Ling speed finally has begun. Ling speed is on the way. Without Ling speed, Ateshi should be able to escape. He should be able to back up, but he does lose all his Zealots. And remember, Ateshi was all in. Ateshi was all in. There's no extra gases. There's no Forge. 2 more gates on the way, getting up to 6 gateways. Oh my god. That's a lot of gateways here for Ateshi, but can he make use of them? Does he have the resources here to warp in? With the Stalkers, they can out-trade the Hydras. Bear that in mind. Especially with some blink control with the Warp Prism. Nice juggling. The armies are comparable with each other. Dark, he backs off. He's waiting for upgrades. +1 air attacks. Sorry, +1 range is on the way. And Dark is droning. I do think that Dark could have started droning earlier. I will say that. I do think that this droning is a little bit delayed here for Dark. But thankfully, he is still droning. He at least is droning up. He's saturating his 3rd base. And now he can get into a longer macro game and embrace all these upgrades. So Dark, he's building up, getting to a longer game state. Ateshi, he is still committed. He is still committed here. Did take extra gases. This means that now he can reinforce with extra Stalkers and less Zealots. Well, now that he has more gas. Hunts down the Overlord. And Ateshi's been building up a terrifying army. Meanwhile, Dark, he does move out. Has a terrifying army himself. In a head-on fight. If Dark is able to surround, I do favor him in this next engagement. There we go, he does push in. And collapses on the army. Starter steps forward, going for the Prism. Up! The Prism! Oh, Prism goes down. It was full as well. Massive pickup. GG gets called. And Dark will overwhelm. GG. Dark, he doesn't just overwhelm, he takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the winners match. Congratulations. My apologies to Ateshi here. Again, it was an interesting build to go for a 2-base all-in. Unfortunately, Dark was, for the most part, aware of what was happening. I should also emphasize a big moment for Dark was the 2nd Overlord. If you remember, a 2nd Overlord came into the main base and saw everything. Saw the Robo, saw the gateways, saw the gases. He saw everything that he needed to tell himself not to drone, to cut workers at 40 and make nothing but Hydras. Nothing but Hydras. So a really good scout, a really good reaction by Dark. This is where I put a little bit of onus here on Ateshi, where he did do a good job at zoning away the 1st Overlord, not the 2nd. He did not have another Stalker set up in the main base to deny the scout, to try to give Dark pause and maybe fake out a DT opener, maybe fake out Glaive of Depths, maybe fake out something different. So again, there was kind of nothing else there as Dark saw everything, and with that responded quite nicely. GG. GG, well played. Dark does take the first series 2-0. As a reminder, these are all best of 3s, and now we are getting ready for our 2nd series of the night. Oh boy, we're getting ready for something that I'm not sure if I'm ready for. Honmono versus Uwu Thermal. Oh boy. Oh boy, Thermal versus Honmono up next. Again, I did mention that I'm familiar with Honmono, and he has been putting in a lot of work into StarCraft Evolution. When it comes to Thermal, I'm less certain of. I'm less certain of Thermal. So we'll see. We'll see how this all comes to pass. We'll see how it all comes together here, as we are jumping into game number 1. Let's go. Game 1 here, the second series of Group D. I would not even be surprised if this goes to the ace match, as we are going to be loading in. Also, I believe Thermal currently is living in Mexico. I believe he is currently over in the land of Mexico, of course. I know he's been spending a lot of time there, for good reason. And his name reflects that. God damn it. Thermal. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player from the land of the Netherlands, but also currently residing in Mexico. It is Uwu Thermal. But some know him as Salsa Tequila. I'm shaking my head. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player from South Korea, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Honmono. I'll fix up the net. Hold on. Shaking my head. There we go. We do have currently our TBT. As a reminder, as I mentioned before, Thermal, he's only a half random player. He's only rolling random when he plays SC2. If he's playing Brood War, he's picking Terran. So he's picking Terran whenever he plays Brood War, and he's picking random whenever he plays SC2. Just to reiterate, and I'll reiterate it a couple more times as well as we do progress in his matches. So for now, though, we're settling into the TBT. Both players are fully aware, and I'm curious how this plays out. Now, what I will say is that Thermal, his best matchup is TBT, period. That is his best matchup. That is where he is strongest whenever he competes in StarCraft 2. When it comes to Brood War, I'm curious when it comes to how he does approach this. As we're loading into Citadel, I should also emphasize this is a 4-player spawn map. 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, bottom right, and top left as well. We can see that immediately Thermal there, he's going across the map to scout. Very fortunate scout, very lucky here for Thermal. He would immediately find his opponent. Meanwhile, Honmono, no SCV scout. No SCV scout whatsoever. Honmono is in the dark. He's going for an economic opener, Rax Expand, a CC on the high ground for Honmono. We do see Thermal, he goes into the main, and he will confirm the opener and the spawn location of his opponent. So a nice start here for Thermal, as he will back up. When it comes to the features of this map, I should also quickly go over it, as this is our first time casting tonight on Citadel, is we have some very interesting kind of high ground locations. We have these speed bumps. We have speed bumps here across the map. As you can imagine, you cannot see over the speed bump without a unit in the sky or without a scan available. It's almost like an alternate kind of an alternate way of throwing down shrubbery and tall grass. Obviously, there's a kind of like a bit of an advantage once you're on top of the high ground here, because you can shoot over the wall. But the same can be said if you're in the tall grass as well. So yeah, it's just a very unique way to really represent that. But more importantly, something that is more unique than that is the fact that you have this tall grass in between your main and your natural. And we have seen players cheese and go for proxies and aggression and actually use this to their advantage to actually outtrade the defending player. So this is actually a really interesting feature here that can make it difficult to defend if it's used against you when you're defending your main base. So yeah, just a really interesting feature here. It means that your main base doesn't have any high ground advantage. The opposite actually has a low ground disadvantage, which is crazy. That's something that is not seen at all. Meanwhile, third CC. That's going to be 3 CC here before Starport. Very greedy, very economic build here by Honmono. Honmono in TBT, if he can get away with greed, he will. Meanwhile, we do see Thermal embracing additional factories. He's going back. That is going to be ion thrusters on the way. That is Vulture speed for Massive Vulture. Interesting that he's not going for a third factory. He's going for a Starport. Is he going for some drop play? Curious. Is he going for the dropship? We're soon to find out. But I do like this overall here, as Honmono does open up Cyclone, throws down a Starport as well. So far, going for a standard build. But Honmono is being really greedy. He's being very greedy here, and I'm curious how Euthermal tries to punish this greed, if at all, as Euthermal doesn't know. I mean, yeah, he has not seen the third CC. So Euthermal doesn't know how greedy Homeowner is being. Behind this, it's not going to be a dropship, it is going to be a Wraith, so he's going to be going for some air control. He's going to be, air control to try to shut down any drop play. Vultures do move out, and Vultures do outtrade Hellions. Straight up, Vultures, they are better units here, and you can see here the first Hellion almost goes down. Cyclones are required, and there we go, the Cyclones have arrived, and with the help of the Cyclones, Homeowner will hold. Homeowner will hold. Meanwhile, what's researching? That is Spider Mines. Spider Mines are being researched. That means that these Vultures will have 3 Spider Mines each to throw down and to lay down on my field and to lay down map control. Scan into the main reveals Mech. As Homeowner was not fully aware, so he's aware of Mech. He also reveals the starport before the 3rd factory. Big scout here for Homeowner. Now he knows to look out for things like Wraiths or even drop play. Ooh, we do have those Spider Mines being set up here on the ramp. You do love to see it. Really good positioning here with the Spider Mines. Meanwhile, you can see Homeowner trying to intercept the eventual Wraith as the Wraiths are building up. At the same time, ooh, Homeowner, he's out of position. Yeah, completely out of position. Euthermal, he dives into the natural. SCVs are going down. We had a Spider Mine going off on the Hellions as well. This will be cleaned up, but that's still 2 SCVs going down. Very nice damage here by Euthermal. He also opens things up for his own main army, as he forced Homeowner back home. Homeowner himself getting into his own Raven production, into Interference Matrix. Going Mass Cyclone as well. I mean, Mass Cyclone can hold their own. And with help of the Raven, he will spot all these Spider Mines. So really good use of the Raven as he shuts every Spider Mine down. And we have yet to really confirm if Homeowner is going into Mech himself. For now, he is keeping up and he is shutting down all those Vultures. Another big feature of this map, I should emphasize, as you can see here, is that there are Zelnaga Towers. There are 4 of them actually throughout the center of the map, but to gain access to them, you have to knock down those rocks and to actually break that Zelnaga Tower free. And yep, Mech. Okay, so we have Mech versus Mech. SC2 versus Brood War. Ooh, Euthermal, he does bypass the army. He slips through. Again, these Vultures, they are so slippery. They are so fast. They are speedy, boys. They get into a mineral line. 4 SCVs go down. At the same time, Homeowner, he commits. Does commit across the map. There are 2 tanks in position. A minefield as well. And Homeowner, he cannot push into this natural. He overextends with the Raven. Raven goes down. First one does fall. Second one as well. He could have thrown down some interference matrices, but that was miscontrolled from Homeowner. Losing every single Raven. He could have broken this tank line 100%. With 2 Ravens, we could have had 2 disables. He at least denies mining at the 3rd. But back at home, that is 14 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Now, Homeowner has mules. That is something that the Brood War Terran does not have. There's no mules for Euthermal. There are mules for Homeowner that will help him recover. So he's not out of this yet, but that was a big loss for Homeowner. Now, thankfully, remember, Homeowner went for a fast 3rd TC, so even though he's been losing workers, he kind of replaced them that much faster, and he's landing his 3rd on location. To have Hurricane engines on the way, so he's going for a mass battle mech for the time being. Likewise, Euthermal, he is done with Vultures. I do like this transition. Remember, Euthermal, he started with mass Vulture for map control. He started to move out and wreak havoc and get economic damage and run bys. Now he's done, and now he's turtling. He's turtling up. He's settling down, he's turtling up. More tanks, siege lines, not quite sentry towers, but missile turrets, Spider Mines as well. So he's going to be turtling, and we could be here for a while. Oh boy. Mech versus Mech, ay, ay, ay. We could be here for a while here, as both players are now embracing tank production. Do you see Euthermal? He does sneak in with 3 Vultures, and once again, they're going to be able to wreak havoc. Once again, Homeowner out of position. Very nice run by Euthermal. He gets 3, he gets 4. Can he get even more than that? 5. Can he get 6? Can he get 7? Up! Not quite. But 6 SCVs go down. Once again, very good damage. This is where I have to be critical of Homeowner. What is a building that Homeowner has access to that Euthermal does not, that could work very well here? Sensor towers. Especially the new PTR, where they are a little bit cheaper, true. I mean, they're smaller as well. But sensor towers would be ideal here to throw down to try to keep eyes on these run-bys. Clearly, these run-bys have been doing a lot of damage, and Homeowner, he keeps being caught out of position. It's one of 2 things. Either throw down sensor towers, or take control of the Zelnaga Towers, right? Like, the Zelnaga Towers, they're there for a reason. You can make use of them, but so far, they've been left untouched. Either one would be ideal. You can see Homeowner, he has a 3rd solution. We have a spotter Rax. So instead, he floats his Rex over. He's going to be using it here to spot this specific attack path. So regardless, at least he has something here to scout, but I mean, the damage has already been done. At the same time, Euthermal, he does try to skirt around the edge of the map. Wraiths, they, similar to Scouts, don't really have amazing anti-ground attack. They do amazingly anti-air, but anti-ground, less so. As you can see here, they tickle the tank. Yeah, they're getting damage done, you know? They're getting the tank. You know, the tank may go down if we're... Never mind. The tank's fine. I do prefer the Wraiths with the main army, specifically to hunt down Ravens. I do think that they have a great role here at hunting down Ravens. Speaking of, one of the Ravens does come within range. No, the rally. One of the Raven goes down. We have the Disables coming from behind. The Mass Disable. Yeah, big surround here from Homeowner. He will lose his SCVs, but will he clean up the tanks? Autotar's being thrown down as well. It's going to be close, and it looks like Homeowner, he will barely clean this up. There's 2 tanks left. And Homeowner will shut them down. So nice surround by Homeowner, but at what cost? At the cost of 18 SCVs. He had to pull the boys. And we do see Euthermal with an untouched economy, right? His worker count is looking solid. He's getting more bases, getting more CCs. Able to replenish that army. I mean, hey, this mech army here from Euthermal, it's relatively cheap. He can keep going. And Homeowner, he's mainly stuck with Cyclones. He needs more tanks. He needs a tank line of his own, and he's just now working on it, but it might just be too late. As Euthermal, he is moving in. So just see Euthermal slowly gaining ground. Likewise, Homeowner pinned back. How many tanks? Still only 3 tanks, still only 1 in position. And Euthermal, he's pushing forward, now embracing Goliath. So, I mean, we saw the power of Goliath last night with Spirit. I mean, it was a different matchup, sure. But the Spirit was quite fun. Did quite often go Mass Goliath against Skillus, if you recall. I do recommend the VODs. It's a very fun group and very fun series. Meanwhile, there's a first Spirits Matrix. Homeowner trying to break out, takes down one of the tanks. And hey, he's slowly building up that tank count. Homeowner, he's holding, he's stabilizing. His supply blocked. Ooh, unfortunately, that's 3 more deepers on the way. The supply block is brutal. And because Euthermal has map control, I mean, he's taking more bases. He's getting a 4th base up and running. He's up in expansion, which is terrifying. Likewise, going for a counterattack, takes down the spotter Rex. Does take down the Rex here as Euthermal, he's still looking for another way in. But these choke points, or these attack paths are quite narrow. They're quite narrow here in Homeowner. Yeah, he's ready for this. He has his tanks, he forces Euthermal back. And this is where, once we get in towards a later game scenario, I would not be opposed to Euthermal going into mech with Ghost support. Like, incorporating Ghosts with lockdowns, I feel like is going to be quite necessary to break this position. I could be mistaken. You know, to be fair, I'm quite limited in the TVTs that I've casted and that I've seen. But I have seen Brood War Terran make quite good use of units like Ghost here in this kind of game state or scenario. Instead, interesting, taking to the skies, going for those starports. Okay, I mean, that doesn't make sense. It could be a little bit too awkward to try to transition into Ghosts. So working towards science vessels, that is definitely an option here for Euthermal. As MS Raven is pushing forward. Euthermal, sure, he has Goliath, but having some other units to help support and fight for air control would be ideal against the more Mass Raven composition of Honmono. And that's a lot of Ravens. So Honmono, he is attempting to break out. Does attempt to. See Euthermal rotating over towards the right hand side. Looking for a way in, and this base is undefended. But at the same time, Homeowner, he breaks out. Pushes right through the center. Does disable the tank lines. And he will break through. And that's so many tanks going down. That's what, 6, 7 tanks? Oh my god. That's a very strong trade here for Euthermal. At the same time, he's going to be losing that northern expansion. And we do see Euthermal, he goes straight for the kill. Straight for the natural. We're going for a base trade. We're going for the base trade. Homeowner, he does commit across the map. Bases are going to be falling, and we'll see if Euthermal can buy some time. Oof. Disables are going off once again. The tanks, they are rendered inert. They do nothing. Meanwhile, across the map, sure, Euthermal, he is getting some damage done, but he has to push into the main. That is the problem. He has to push into the main base. More disables. The disables, they just don't stop. They don't stop coming. The mass disable. Hon Mono, he's breaking through. And there's still more disables where that came from. As disables, they are running out, but it doesn't even matter. The tanks fall. At the same time, both of the bases here of Euthermal are falling as well. Expansions aren't going down. But the Ravens, they still have so much energy. Still so much more. And who gets on top of the production first? Who's able to break in first, if anyone? As Homeowner, he's stuck on one base. Meanwhile, Euthermal, he has a base towards the south and towards the right-hand side. Euthermal still has mining. Euthermal still has mining, and he's coming back home. He's getting ready for a surround. Coming in for the surround here. And does Euthermal have enough? I think he does. I mean, sure, there's going to be a little disables, but yeah, he pulls the trigger. He's going for it. He dives in. Goes to dive. The tanks are on siege. Yeah, they were on siege for one moment too many there. And we get the full surround. The tanks are going to be cleaned up. Auto turrets are helping, but it's not going to be enough. Euthermal, he shuts a homeowner down, cleans up the army. And remember, Euthermal, he has a full mining base. And now homeowner knows. Now he sees for the first time. He gets eyes on the full saturation. And homeowner, he's in trouble. And the Ravens out of energy. They can't support. Not anymore. There's the ghost. Yo, we spoke about it. We spoke about the ghost support. Was lockdown. We have lockdown. Let's go. He can lock down the army. More ghosts on the way. Once I saw the extra starports, I thought that that Euthermal was getting ready for a science vessel transition, but nah. It's gonna be the ghost instead. Show us what we love best. The lockdown back. If we can get there. I mean, homeowner, we don't see the final fight, but homeowner, he's at death's door. The writing was on the wall, and Euthermal will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Euthermal does take a lead in the series. I'm catching up in the chat. Lockdown here could work. I mean, he had it. He researched it. He had ghosts, but unfortunately, the game ended before we could really feature the ghost and feature the lockdown. What was important, though, was, you know, the base trade that had occurred, right? Homeowner going straight towards the natural, straight towards the third base. Euthermal, he was the first to initiate the base trade. Bear that in mind. He was faster to pull the trigger. And on top of that, unfortunately, homeowner was unaware of that southern base. Because of that, I mean, we had... I should say that Euthermal was able to maintain his production, maintain his economy, and set up for that eventual surround. Set up for that surround. GG, well played. Whew. With that, Euthermal takes the lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Disable is so strong. Not strong enough. Not strong enough, man. Ooh, as we are going to be entering game number 2 here, and one of our players was forced to play random. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leg Alliance, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. The Brood War Terran player, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, playing SE2, which means he had to pick random and rolling his main race. That's unfortunate, but he does roll his main race. It is the Blue Terran player leading the series 1-0. Of course, from the Netherlands, living or currently residing in the land of Mexico, it is Euthermal. aka Salsa Tequila. As Euthermal throws caution to the wind, he has no idea. He has no idea what he's up against. He only knows that it's random, and Homeowner, he doesn't care. Homeowner, he has no care in the world. I mean, Homeowner, he's an animal, he's an ape. That's why we love him. That's why we appreciate casting him whenever he can, but he's going for a proxy 3 racks. Proxy 3 racks Mass Marine with a bunker rush as well. And Euthermal currently is in the dark, but he opens up double gas. Ooh. Double gas opener out of Euthermal. What does this mean? This means racks into factory, faster helium production, faster cyclone production. This is a defensive opener here out of Euthermal, which is going to be quite favorable to him in this game state. So already a bit of a gamble here. Euthermal, he rolls the dice, rolls well, playing safe. But he has yet to confirm what's going on as he's moving out with that first Reaper. Ooh, he's scouting. He's scouting the natural location. Again, Honmono has a reputation. This is the downside of being Honmono, is that you do have a reputation. People know that he is known for aggression and cheese. Didn't do it in game 1, but that's because it was a TBT. And Honmono doesn't often cheese in TBT. The SCVs are revealed, and oh, the lift! No, he doesn't lift in time! Does not lift in time. The bunkers are on the way. Euthermal, a little bit slow to react. He was slow to react. Boys are being pulled. Oh, the Reaper under fire. He's gonna try and deny that bunker. Ooh, but the Reaper goes down. Massive pickoff. And once again, bit of miscontrol. GG gets called, and Honmono ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. We are going all the way to game 3. Again, Euthermal, too many mistakes too quickly there. He didn't lift up the depot. He lost the first Reaper. That was game then and there. Again, just, yeah, here, when you're up against a cheese, when you're up against aggression, you have to be on point. You have to be crisp when it comes to your unit control specifically, because that's all you have. You know, that you have limited units available. Every unit does matter that much more. Euthermal, he's gotta shake off those old hands, Pappy. He's gotta, gotta keep up with these younger players here, and we'll see if he can bring it back in the ace match, as we are jumping into game number 3. Here we go. We're getting into game 3 here, and we'll see how this story ends, as it is going to be Euthermal's pick of race, and Euthermal once again is picking SE2. What does that mean? Random. So Euthermal is going to be rolling that random dice, and we'll see what he lands on. Last time he landed on Terran. This time, oh, he has landed on Zerg. Of course he has. Here, well, they changed colors. God damn it. There we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sylphid, we have the red Zerg player. I should say the random player rolling Zerg here, rolling SE2 Zerg from the land of the Netherlands, living in Mexico. It is Euthermal. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent once again cheesing it up, sending out SCVs across the map as we speak. We have the blue Terran player from South Korea, the Brood War Terran. It is Honmono. Representing Hyper 1, and the drone barely missed the scouts. The drone moved out as the worker moved out towards the top side of the map. The Raxes were placed, so alas, Euthermal, he barely does miss the proxy, but the Overlord might see it. It's gonna be close. I think it will barely get eyes on the Raxes. We do see Euthermal opening up pool first. Very safe. Once again, safe opener out of Euthermal, but it comes down to the control. As Euthermal, he does confirm the proxy Rax. Now, it is a bit of a later scout from Euthermal, but at least he does confirm that he's being cheesed, and this should be Mass Marine with a bunker rush. It's going to be here on Euthermal to once again control well, and I believe when it comes to Brood War defense, we will need Sunken Colonies. We're going to need Sunken Colonies here to defend, as Queens are not available. It's going to be purely Lings and Sunken Colonies here for the Zerg player. And we'll see if he can hold. As the drone did move out, the boys are, of course, on the way. Proxy hatch. Oh my, he's crazy. Proxy hatch across the map. Bunkers are being thrown down as the bunker rush has begun. And there is, oh, right. Sorry, I said Sunken Colonies. He's SC2. My brain was elsewhere. My apologies. Spine Crawlers and Queens. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Yeah, he shuts down the first bunker already. First SCV goes down. But the rest of the Marines have arrived. So my apologies. Again, we do have Queens. We do have Spine Crawlers. He's SC2, not Brood War Zerg. My mind wanted to see what it wanted to, as we do see almost a surround. There we go. Another SCV goes down. Ooh, that's 2 SCV kills already, but the bunker is upon us. The Spine Crawler's under fire, but it will finish. Does finish up, does target down the SCVs. So far, so good. There's 1 SCV left, and the bunker is going to be denied. Nice hold here from Euthermal. He does defend on 1 base, and he does have the proxy across the map to send at Lings into the mineral line. So Euthermal, he's fine. Is perfectly fine here. He is holding quite well. Marines are stacking up, though. Now, I am a little bit concerned that there's only 1 spine. There we go. I'm concerned by the 1 Spine Crawler, so is Euthermal. He throws down a 2nd Spine Crawler to make sure that he is secure. as Homeowner has not expanded. He is still very much so all in, and he will attempt to break this natural. Sorry, break the main. He will attempt to break the main. As I say that, Academy's on the way. That's going to be for Stim. Ooh, that's going to be for a later push. Interesting. Stim is on the way. Or I should also say that this does grant access to medic production as well. Meanwhile, Homeowner, he sees the creep. He does spot the creep. Hatchery is done. Lings are on the way. Queen as well. Homeowner, he is aware, but how does he respond? I mean, he has nothing at home to defend. Which means Euthermal, he might just win this. He might just take this here, as there is nothing at home for Euthermal. Sorry, for Homeowner. God, the other one. The other Terran. Yeah, Homeowner, he only has SCVs to defend. There we go. Now he turns back around, but it might just be too late. As the economy is crippled, SCVs are getting picked off. Homeowner, he's racing back home. At the same time, Euthermal, he breaks out. He gets us around, takes down the SCV. He can move forward here with the spine crawlers. At the same time, Link Speed kicks in. Oof. And that's going to be every SCV going down. Yeah, it was a bold move for Homeowner to go for the proxy the way that he has, but he is locked out of his own main. The bunker falls, and Homeowner, he's down to 2 SCVs. Down to 2 workers, almost nothing left here for Homeowner. I mean, he's going to get the queen. Sure, he will clean up these lings. Technically, Homeowner, he will regain control of his main, and he will finish Stim. But Homeowner, he just doesn't really have an army. He doesn't really have an economy to sustain an army. There's almost nothing left here for the Terran. And here come the reinforcements. Here come the lings. They catch the reinforcements here on Mono. Oh, he's going for the Overlord. Never mind. Overlord gets away. Lings, they force out the Stim. And Euthermal, he can just wait it out. He can just wait out the Stim. And come in for the surround. And there we go. Second Stim. Once again, he just pulls away. Waits it out. More lings are amassing. Do we get a third Stim? Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. GG, well played. Euthermal will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played, Euthermal. He will take the series, will advance on into the winner's match. My condolences to Homeowner, but again, Homeowner, he is a very aggressive player, very cheesy, did gamble a little bit when it came to going for his own proxy 3 racks, and honestly, it came down to the SCVs. It did come down to the SCVs. If you remember, the Euthermal's win condition was kill the workers. So to make sure the bunkers did not finish, and he was able to kill all 4 SCVs. There were 4 SCVs in total. They all went down one after the other, which means the bunker was denied, which means Homeowner could not gain access to the natural. Sorry, to the main. I keep saying natural. To the main. He could not gain access to the main base. He could not break Euthermal's main, and from there, Euthermal snowballed out of control. The nail in the coffin after denying the bunker was the proxy hatch. The proxy hatch across the map, and the only reason why that happened was because there was a drone scout. If you remember, there was a drone scout early on from Euthermal because he was looking for the expansion for the spawn location of Honmono, and with that scouting drone, he was able to make use of it and turn it into a proxy hatchery. And that was the nail in the coffin that did win Euthermal the game in the end. GG, well played. With that, we have our first 2 matches wrapping up. Oh boy. First 2 matches do wrap up here, and you know what? These matches have been quite fast. They've been fast matches. We may as well follow this into the winner's match before the break. I wouldn't say exclamation mark B. As we switch our scenes over here to the group itself. Here we go. From the top, Dark took down Ateshi 2-0. We had Euthermal taking down Homeowner 2-1 as well. And I'll be honest, these were fast games. I do think that the highlight so far of the broadcast, Game 1 of Euthermal Homeowner. Game 1, the late game TBT. That was beautiful to see mech versus mech. You know, we didn't quite get to embrace the ghost production, unfortunately, from Euthermal. We didn't quite get to see the lockdowns towards the end. But it was just a really solid Game 1 there. Game 2 and Game 3, Clown Fiestas. Just cheese and proxy, so we got a little bit less out of those. But regardless, that was an amazing Game 1 to kind of set the stage for the 2 of them. And now we have our remaining matches. We have the winner's match between Dark and Euthermal, and we have the elimination match between Ateshi and Honmono. Oh boy. We have our upcoming matches here. And let's get things ready. Let's get things ready here for our next series. It is going to be that Zerg versus Random and Dark versus Euthermal. Oh boy. Just need a moment to set things up before we jump in. Oh boy. Here we go. We have confirmation. Dark is going to be playing SC2, which means Euthermal is playing Brood War, which means he is not rolling random. He's going to be picking the Brood War Terran race. As we jump into game 1, it's going to be on ley lines. Here we go. We are jumping in. I didn't see Zerg GG. Zerg won the game. So, yes, Zerg did not GG. You're correct. And here we go. We're getting into our fresh series here, into our third series of the night, the winners match. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg, representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brood War Terran player, the red Terran from the land of the Netherlands, living in Mexico. It is Euthermal. We go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. And we do have Euthermal, oh my, opening up 2 racks. It is not uncommon for Brood War Terran players to go for a delayed CC, especially on a 2-player spawn map, so this makes sense. Euthermal was opening up 2 racks, going for a delayed command center to make sure he is safe and sound, especially against a player like Dark, especially against SC2 Dark. Dark is hyper aggressive. He's known for Lin Queen Nidus all-ins, Roach Queen all-ins as well, whether it's with German taxis, whether it's with Nidus worms, Bane bus as well, early spawning pool into early Roach Warren. It's Dark, he's an animal. He is an animal, but he's also known for this. Do you see what I see? I see a fast third. I see no gas. This is a very greedy gasless build. So Dark is going gasless. You can get away with this on smaller maps like ley lines. I say smaller maps, I should emphasize more defensive maps. You can get away with this on more defensive maps. What I mean by that is that on ley lines, you have a very narrow ramp coming in towards the triangular third. Likewise, a narrow ramp coming into the forward third base as well. On top of that, high ground advantage. It is not uncommon, or it is a little bit easier to get away with purely queen defense against units like vultures and hellions. So a very greedy build here by Dark. This usually leads into a Roach Warren with delayed link speed for a Roach Queen defense. Meanwhile, I assumed this was going to be 2 racks into a CC. This is not. And Dark has yet to confirm. This looks like a 1-base all-in. Looks like a 1-base all-in. We're rushing into stim, into bioproduction, and Euthermal may pull the boys with this. He might decide to pull the boys and go for a full all-in. We'll see. SV comes down to low ground. Interesting. Euthermal looks like he is going to expand, but this is a very late expansion for Euthermal. This puts a lot of pressure on him. This means that this sim timing needs to pay off. This needs to get damage done, otherwise he's just going to fall behind, especially against a gasless opener of Dark. The Marines are revealed, the medics are revealed more importantly, so now Dark knows. Now Dark knows this is a stim timing. Back at home, Spinecrawler. Spinecrawler, Queens are amassing, Roach Warren gets placed down. No link speed. Remember, no link speed. Gases were late for Dark, so he has to defend with purely Queens, Spinecrawlers, and slow links. Euthermal, he can get damage done. He can punish the greed of Dark. He can, but will he? Ooh, he doesn't know. Euthermal, he doesn't know about the third base. Oh, he's pushing towards the natural. He could be denying the third right now, but I mean, he might just want to go for queen kills anyway. There we go. Now he knows. Now he confirms, and now he's going for the hatchery. There's the first stim. Catching some of the larva. Queens are moving forward. Up! Euthermal, he does threaten a dive. Spinecrawler moving forward as well. There's the second stim. Queens holding their own. One queen goes down. A bit of miscontrol there by Dark. He doesn't fall back in time. One queen does fall, but it looks like Dark, he is holding. He bleeds out a lot of links. Spinecrawler a little bit too far behind. And there's a third stim. And again, because of these early medics, they can maintain themselves. Another queen getting low. This time Dark does pull back in time. The Lings, they come in for a surround, but it looks like Euthermal, he has enough. He breaks through, takes out the Spine, takes out the Lings, takes out every single Queen as well, and Euthermal, he has done it. He has broken the third base. Dark is getting into Roach production. The Roaches may be able to hold on to the natural, but not the third. And I spoke earlier that the pressure was on Euthermal to get damage done because of the late expansion, and he does it. He does more than enough. He dives on the Roaches as well. Can he keep going? Can he go for the kill? He might be able to. Yeah, he might be able to. The medic is out of energy, unfortunately, so there's very little sustain left for the army. But Euthermal, he is pulling this off. Takes down 2 more Overlords. Stims on top of the Roaches. And Dark, he was being cheeky. He was being greedy here, going gasless, and he gets punished. He gets punished very hard. And it looks like this may just be game. I was expecting a short game, and I'll be honest, a short series, but GG gets called as Euthermal, he pops off. He takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very aggressive build there by Euthermal. Borderline all in because he had to do some critical damage because of how delayed the rest of his economy was. And again, everything lined up in favor of him just because of the greedy build of Dark, because he did open up gases, because he was droning as well. He had limited units here to defend, only 3 Queens, Lings, the Roach Warren was delayed as well. It all worked in favor of Euthermal. Likewise, he did have a little bit of miscontrol when it came to Dark, when it came to losing that first Queen. That does mean that he missed out on a transfuse. There could have been a transfuse available there to save the Spine Crawler, and maybe that would have been enough. Hard to say. Regardless, we are now jumping into game number 2. Now, as a reminder, loser's pick. It is loser's pick, so Dark, it is his choice to make, and his choice, as to no surprise, is to keep on going with SC2 Zerg. Here we go. Here we go. That's crazy stim timing due to the medics. Yes, we have spoken about stim timings before. We spoke about it in TVP especially because 3 Raxes in TVP and 2-1-1s in TVZ hit so much faster for Brood War because, as you mentioned, you don't have to wait for the starport to get support for your army. You know, medics, they're made from Raxes, so the medic support is so fast, which means you have more stims available. Usually in SE2, 2-1-1s or 2 Raxes or 3 Raxes or 4 Raxes, every stim hurts because you have no medivacs. When it comes to Brood War, you have medics, so you can stim so much more freely, so much more carelessly as well. You can just stim to your heart's content by. It's crazy. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning. Oh, I should fix this up. There we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Talon Esports down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran the Brutal Terran, picking his own race, of course, from the land of the Netherlands, living in the land of Mexico. It is Euthermal. Euthermal. Once again, 2 racks. It is going to be a 2 racks opener out of Euthermal. Now, is this the same build? Do we go 2 racks into an academy, into a fast stim push? It's possible, or this could just be 2 racks into an expand. If you remember, I just assumed, if you recall, I was like, oh yeah, 2 racks Marine does make sense. We see this all the time, into a CC behind it just to be safe. That's what I assumed was going to be happening in game 1. I'm also assuming that's happening here in game 2. I'm assuming that Euthermal is working toward... No, never mind. Same build. Never mind. Same build. Fast Academy. Fast Stim. It is going to be a 2 racks stim timing here from Euthermal. Very aggressive, very committed. Last game, at end of the game, we'll see if he can achieve as much success. As the Overlord does confirm the Raxes, but this doesn't tell the entire story here. Ooh, as the Rax does lift, and the Overlord is going to be hunted down. Now, back at home, more importantly, standard opener. Hatch gas pool. Remember, last game it was gasless. Last game it was a gasless opener from Dark. This time, standard hatch gas pool. This, though, is not standard. Do you see what I see? Gas mining. Very uncommon here to mine additional... Okay, there we go. He pulls away. Very uncommon to mine extra gas, so it looks like that was a mistake. Looks like Dark, he accidentally mined extra gases, so a bit of an inefficient build here from Dark. He has to bring it back, he has to bring it home, he has to tighten things up here if he wants to survive his opponent. But he could still go for an earlier Roach Warren. Regardless, at least Dark will have queens, and this time speedlings. Okay. Oh, he pulls back in. Okay, this is intentional. He pulls back in. Now, with early gas mining like this, I'm leaning towards roaches. I'm leaning towards early roach production. I imagine that's what is going to be worked upon. Meanwhile, Euthermal, he's mixing it up. He's going for not just marines and a medic, he's going for fire bats as well. Interesting. Going for fire bats. Now, I assume this is going to be for roach defense. That is not the case. It is going to be further tech. It's going to be for Baneling defense. So it's going to be Ling Bane here from Dark. Now, the plus side is that this means that Banelings are going to be online faster. Roaches take longer. Roaches, they take longer to produce. They take longer to defend. So this is going to be a much faster defense here. Faster setup, I should say, from Dark, as Banelings should soon be morphing in. Meanwhile, Euthermal is getting ready. Lings, they do slip into the natural. Oh my god. They slip in. They delay the expansion. Nice pick off there by Dark. Is aware that there is an expansion moving out with those Lings. Euthermal, he's racing back. Is racing back home. And it looks like Euthermal, upon seeing Ling speed, remember, Euthermal, he hasn't seen anything. He confirms no fast third. No fast third base, so Euthermal, he retreats. Basically, what just happened is Euthermal, he scouted enough to confirm that Dark did not go gases. And upon recognizing that Dark opened up with a faster gas geyser, whether there's Banelings or roaches to defend, Euthermal immediately backs off. So he knows like the limitations of his build and of what he can achieve against Dark. He's respecting Dark quite a lot. Despite respecting him though, can he deal with the army? As Dark, he does move out. He does bypass the main force here of Euthermal, hits the natural. And Euthermal, does he respond? Oh, he doesn't. He commits. Is committing, and Bailey's going to be knocking down that depot. Depot gets crushed, and Dark floods in. He floods into the natural. Meanwhile, Euthermal, he's all in. He's completely all in. There are some queens, no spine cooler to defend. Means they wreak havoc in the natural. They bust into the main. Oh, not the best Baneling connection. SCVs are still going down. At the same time, queens are falling. The Baneling. Nice target firing. Ooh, he targets one, but not the other. And it looks like Euthermal is running out of steam here. He's down to 4 marines. That's not going to be a lot to work with. Clutch transfuse. Queens, they hold their own. Ling reinforcements have arrived. SCVs are going down, and Dark, he's holding. He is holding on from 4 marines down to 3. And GG gets called. Dark ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. I appreciate that Euthermal, he did adjust his build after scouting, but it was still the same build, and this time Dark adapts. He adapts, he does punish, counterattacks, and does shut Euthermal down. Whew, GG. GG, well played. This is also why, personally, I'm not too fond of going for the same build 2 games in a row, even if it works. A player like Dark is a player of the caliber that they are able to adapt, able to respond, and able to react to what it is you're doing. So, Euthermal, he gets punished for going for a very similar build, and now we're going to the ace match. We're going to the ace match, and I'm hoping that Euthermal goes something different. I'm hoping that we see a different build, and I'm sure we will as we are loading into a 4-player spawn map. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting into our next game, and once again, interesting. So, because Euthermal just lost this game, it's his pick. It is Euthermal's race pick here, or I should say version pick, and he is committing to Brood War Terran. He has chosen not to switch to SC2, and that means that, I mean, once again, Dark, he plays his main race. Bold move by Euthermal, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Citadel. We have the blue Brood War Terran player from the Netherlands, living in the land of Mexico. It is Euthermal. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg from South Korea, the SC2 Zerg once again, 3 games in a row. It is Dark. Here we go. As welcome once again to Citadel. This is a 4-player spawn map. Dark, his first Overlord, gets sent towards the south, so Dark is going to get a faster scout of what is going on. And Euthermal, he's still a little bit in the dark here. Ooh. CC first? It looks to be the case. Okay, so I was hoping for a different build. I was hoping for a different opener. and finally we get it, and this makes the most sense. It is CC first by Euthermal. On the one hand, very greedy build here by Euthermal, but it is because we are on a 4-player spawn map. The likelihood of Dark opening up pool first or gas first is very low chance of that happening. So Euthermal, he takes a chance and he opens up in a greedy fashion, and he should get away with it. Dark, standard opener. Hatch gas pool. Hatch gas pool. I would say that this would be a good map for Dark to go gasless. Actually, never mind. I was going to say this would be a good map for it, but I do think that there are maybe too many attack paths, and the bases are spread out. I think it would be awkward to defend with purely Queen. So, yeah, I stand by Hatch gas pool. Standard safe opener out of Dark. Meanwhile, Euthermal being greedy. CC first into a 3 racks follow-up. This is much more standard. Much more standard play here by Euthermal. Overlord does confirm, and I believe because this Rax isn't finished and because of the high ground here that is avoiding any kind of additional vision, I believe Euthermal does not see the Overlord. So Dark saw Euthermal, Euthermal did not see Dark. So Euthermal scouting. Euthermal, he's looking for the base location of his opponent. Dark already knows. And we can see Euthermal going for the cross scout. Going for the cross spawn scout here. Meanwhile, behind this, 3 racks into stim. 3 rack stim here from Euthermal. It's going to be a later stim timing with later medevacs because of the faster command center. But very bio-heavy nonetheless. Very bio-heavy. As Dark is going for his 3rd. Things they get across the map. Nibbling away at the SCVs. Just being a bit of a nuisance. Not doing any critical damage here. As the Lings are shut down. Are going to be shut down. Building up more Marines. And once Euthermal pieces it all together, there we go. He does scout. Does scout with the SCV. Does now confirm the location of Dark. Is aware. And this is going to be a very strong move out here with Stim. But as a reminder, this is going to be later. So I would say the likelihood of this being as impactful is going to be a little bit lower here. So we might be able to embrace a longer game state. Oh, that is a 4th Rax. Okay. That I was not quite expecting. 4th Rax has been thrown down. If Euthermal throws down a 5th Rax, I'm going to say 2 base all in. There we go. 5th Rax is on the way. Okay, Euthermal, no 3rd CC in sight. Just Mass Marine, Mass Medic. Euthermal is committing here on 2 bases. On top of that, what will favor him when it comes to this all-in, Dark is close spawn. He has a close spawn here with the vertical spawn instead of cross spawn, which means this is going to hit harder. Reinforcements, they do get across the map that much faster as well. And Euthermal, he's going for it. At the same time, Lings, they slip in. Lings, they slip into the natural. They get 1 SCV kill. Euthermal, he should be able to defend. And he still commits. Back at home, what does Dark have? Roaches on the way, but they're not ready. 10 Roaches are in production, but Dark, he needs them here and now. And Euthermal, he's already knocking down that front door. Never mind, he doesn't go for the natural, he goes for the 3rd. I think he could have done damage though. I think he could, if he had gone for the natural, I think he could have caught the Queens. But alas, he does rotate it around instead. Does rotate to the 3rd, distracted by the Lings, and Dark's holding. Dark is holding, and you know what? Do you see what I see? No drones. Dark is going for his own all-in, and I think Euthermal just saw that. When he poked in, I believe Euthermal saw no saturation. No saturation at the 3rd base, so Euthermal, he's racing back home. He's realizing that his all-in might not work because Dark is all-inning. The all-in versus everyone's all-in. Let's go. As Dark is pushing, Euthermal has to get the hell out of here. He cannot get surrounded. He's racing back home. It's going to be Ling Ravager for Dark. What does Euthermal have? Now, because of Euthermal's build, no tanks. No defensive tanks, no defensive spider mines, 0 factory production. CC is now on the way. Bold move here by Euthermal. We'll see if he can hold. We'll see if he can survive because here comes the Roach Ravager. Or the Ravager Ling even. Oh! Ooh, big connection here on the medics. Sims in. Gets a Ravager. Gets 1. Ling's going to be engaging. Nice spread here by Euthermal. Does avoid the piles. Oh my god, he avoids the piles. He shuts down the Ravagers as well. A very nice moves here by Euthermal, but Ling reinforcements have arrived. So far, a better trade for the Terran. Yeah, much better trade. He does punish the aggression of Dark, and Dark, he's going to lose everything. The Lings, the Roaches, the Ravagers. Ooh, does take another bout to the face. But it's a very nice cleanup here by Euthermal. Alas, he doesn't really have too many reinforcements, so he's running out of steam a little bit here. Remember, he is expanding, he is getting another CC. He's still pushing in. And Dark is in trouble. Dark, he's down in workers. The all-in failed. And Dark, he has almost nothing to defend. No Banelings, no Ravagers. Roach goes down, and this may just end the game. Gets one, gets two Roaches. The Queens are falling as well. No Transfuse, and Euthermal is snowballing out of control. Oh my god. It wasn't the longer series that I wanted, what I will say. Very short games here, both Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3. But Euthermal, does he have enough? Oh, he's running out of Marines. He's running out of Marines. It's mainly medics here. Roaches are coming in to reinforce. Dark, can he barely hold on? Nah, the reinforcements. Reinforcements have arrived. Euthermal, he's done it. He has done it. He has broken the back of Dark. As Dark is barely trying to hold on. Behind this Euthermal, he's on a 58 SCVs. Remember, he's now got a third base. He's landing on location. Doesn't even need the third. But now he's getting into the mineral lines. Again, barely maintaining himself. And these are losses that Dark cannot afford. Losing 9 drones at the natural. And again, pure Roach, Vanilla Roach cannot keep up with this army. GG gets called, and Euthermal Salsa Tequila will take the series 2-1, becoming the first player to make it through Group D. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Coming into this group, I was uncertain. I was uncertain of the state of play of Euthermal. If you remember, I was saying how I haven't seen Euthermal compete in SEL. I know that he's been playing custom games, but I don't know what his form is looking like. And clearly, he has a lot of specialized builds. A lot of specialized builds here that he was able to flex against Dark. No mid game, no late game between him and Dark. To be fair, Dark wasn't really one to embrace that kind of game state either. And I do think it was a really, really critical moment in this last game where Euthermal turned around. If you remember, when Euthermal realized that Dark was going all in, when he realized that there was no saturation at the third base, it was so important that he raced back home, because in that moment, if Dark had surrounded that army with Lings and locked it down with his Roach Ravager, Dark would have won. Dark would have won the game then and there. Euthermal, he had to get out of there. He had to get out. He had to race back home. He built up a greater army, and then he was able to fight on his terms. He was able to fight with his back against his depots and bunkers, so he could not get surrounded, shut down the Lings, shut down the Roaches, the Ravagers. A much better engagement there by Euthermal that otherwise could have happened in the center of the map, and from there, he snowballed out of control. So very nice response there by Euthermal, given the game state. Likewise, Dark caught with his pants down a little bit surprised, but just how well the Bio Army can trade against the forces of, you know, the Ling Ravager, and GG. GG, well played. Euthermal was the first player to make it through into the playoffs from Group D, and now we have to determine who else makes it through the group stage. Oh boy. Who is next? As we switch our scenes over for a moment to have a look at the bracket itself, or the group. Let us catch up together here. And here we go. We have Euthermal. Euthermal takes down Homono 2-1, takes down Dark 2-1 as well. These were not easy games. They all went to the ace match. So, I mean, again, Homono and Dark, they did both threaten Euthermal, but again, Mark, Euthermal does make it through in first. And up next, we have the elimination match. We have a best of 3 between Ateshi and Honmono. The loser of that series will be eliminated from the tournament, will be eliminated from SEL, and the winner will advance on against Dark in that decider match. So 2 best of 3s remaining. We have 3 players left here, and only 1 can make it through into the main event. Oh boy, we'll see who it's going to be. For now, we're going to be going on a break. We're going to be going on a short break here. When we return, we will have our next series. We'll have the elimination match. See you guys after the break. See you soon. See you soon. Oh. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with the first three matches with the winners match of Group D, and now we have returned with the elimination match. Welcome also one and all to the StarCraft Evolution League. I did notice some people were actually inquiring and asking about the mod itself. Some people even asking if this was on in Brood War or SE1. This is a mod in SE2. It is a mod in StarCraft 2 that does kind of in a way blend together the races of Brood War and StarCraft 2. They don't merge the races, they leave them separate. I should emphasize that as well. They are separate races, so in this kind of game mode or in this tournament, essentially there are 6 races. There's SE2 variants of Zerg, Protoss, and Terran, and Brood War variants of Zerg, Protoss, and Terran as well. So 6 races, but there is also a very important limitation here when it comes to how these matches can shape up. I don't know if you noticed, but it is always forced, or I should say it is always enforced, that the way this tournament series work and the way these matches work is that it is always Brood War versus SE2. You never see Brood War versus Brood War or SE2 versus SE2. That does not occur. So in a way, it's not really 6 races. I mean, it kind of is, but at the same time, you're never really balancing for the Brood War races versus the Brood War races. In a way, that makes it a little bit easier to balance because there are certain things you don't have to consider. Which I'm sure it does make things a little bit easier. The game is balanced around Brood War versus SE2. Just as a heads up. And yeah, it's quite refreshing. It's a lot of fun to kind of jump into this, and always really exciting to see these big SE2 names go up against these other players that otherwise focus and devote a lot more attention and time into StarCraft Evolution instead, StarCraft Evolution even. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, of course, and that's why Dark was a dark horse coming into this group. Dark, I'm pretty sure he hasn't played much of this at all, much of StarCraft Evolution. So really, it feels like he's relying on his own SE2 skill and own SE2 play here to try to carry him through this and brute force his way through, and it could still work. He is in the decider match, but until then we have the elimination match. We have a TVP, Honmono versus Ateshi. Let's go. Let us go. As we're jumping into game 1, it's going to be on Whispers of Gold. As we settle into game 1, Honmono is going to be rocking SE2, Ateshi going to be rocking Brood War. We go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the I should fix that up as well. We have the red Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Honmono. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player, also from South Korea, the Brood War Protoss. It is Ateshi. Here we go. TVP is upon us, and let's go. As Honmono, he is a very aggressive, very cheesy player. That is his reputation. That's what he's known for, especially in this matchup. We've seen Honmono take down some big names in the past. He has even taken maps off of max packs in SE2 with builds like this, with all-ins. So, I mean, hey, if Honmono can take down max packs, he can take down any Protoss player out there. But this time, Ateshi, he scouts. Again, Honmono has a reputation, and Ateshi is aware that he denies the proxy. Let's go! The question mark at a Honmono. The GLHF gets thrown down, and the build there's been a wrench thrown in the works here for Honmono. He has to try to deviate and try to transition out of his initial proxy 3 racks. And again, despite the question mark there, I mentioned before that Honmono, he has a reputation. He has a big reputation. Everyone knows he cheeses. Everyone knows that he is one to proxy as well. So I do not blame, and I do fully understand Ateshi for scouting and checking for something like that. Does make sense. I mean, hey, we even saw Honmono cheese, or try to cheese Uthermal twice in his last series with proxy 3 racks. Ay. So far so good by Ateshi. Meanwhile, Honmono trying to transition back at home, going double gas leading into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. So, yeah, it's a rough start. It is a rough start for Honmono to try to, again, recover from an otherwise disrupted build and disrupted start. As Ateshi is in position to delay the expansion. Again, as a reminder, because of the double gas, it is going to be a factory before CC, and Ateshi does confirm. Ateshi confirms the factory. Back at home, we do have prioritization here of Dragoon range. Dragoon production has begun, and this is kind of the bread and butter here of PvT here. I mean, typically in this matchup is going to be Dragoons in towards the mid game. So far, so good. Meanwhile, from the side of Honmono, it is not a sure thing that Honmono is going to expand. There is a chance that he goes for a starport or a second Rax or a third Rax all on one base, as reactor cyclone production has begun, and Honmono has yet to expand. Thankfully, does have an SCV in position, and he should soon be throwing down a CC. The probe does confirm still no expansion, dips into the main, and gets eyes on the add-on swap, gets eyes on the reactored factory. Now, for all Ateshi knows, it could be reactored Hellion. True, it could be reactored Hellion with like a proxy medevac or proxy starboard for like a Hellion drop. So Ateshi is still a little bit in the dark as to what's going on. Oh, and that is a second factory. Oh boy, it's going to be mech. It's going to be, I think, Mass Cyclone even from Honmono. As the probe gets shut down, the Cyclones are revealed. Back at home, we do have Ateshi actually getting into his own shuttle. Interesting. Getting into shuttle production early on. No bay yet. No bay into, like, Reaver. Speaking of, there it is. As I was saying, we now see a bay in towards Reaver production. So it looks like Ateshi is trying to work towards a Reaver drop. But before we can get there, we have to survive the Cyclones here of Honmono. And I am concerned for Ateshi. I'm concerned. As Cyclones are amassing. Honmono soon to break out. I believe Ateshi is still unaware. He does not really know what Honmono is up to. He didn't see the follow-up factory, the follow-up tech. All that Ateshi knows is the first two Cyclones. And that's pretty standard. Like, it's not uncommon to open up Cyclone in this matchup. And the worst case scenario, I can see it already here, is if the shuttle gets caught. And I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping the shuttle doesn't get caught out by all these Cyclones. As Honmono moves out, investing into Hurricane thrusters. Sorry, Hurricane engines, the other one. Oh, the Observer does get eyes on the army. Nice movement here from Ateshi. Does spot the Cyclones. Reaver coming in from behind. Bold move! Going for the Cyclones! Oof. Shot goes off. Dragoons from behind, and the Cyclones, they get zoned away. So nice handling of the situation here by Ateshi. As he did spot the army. What might get set up? The last series detection. What might goes down. Once again, you see Honmono, he is hunting for that shuttle. Does catch the Dragoons. Oh my god. Insane connections, insane lock-ons. Two Dragoons go down. Honmono, he's on the chase at the same time. Reaver gets into the main. Honmono does pull away in time, losing 2 SCV so far. He wants the up. Oh my god, massive connection. 7 SCV kills. Yeah, massive shot goes off. Another shot here on the first Cyclone. Second shot as well. But it looks like the shuttle's going to be shut down. With 2 Cyclones, there's no escape. Oof. Goes for the SCVs, gets 13. Oh my god, that makes it worth it. Gets a Cyclone, gets 13 SCV kills. Not bad for 1 Reaver and 1 shuttle. But now Ateshi has to defend. Now Honmono has gained map control. He has gained map control. He has Mass Cyclone. He's pushing in between the bases. Gets a transferring worker. Ooh, will bleed out a Cyclone though. Almost 2. As he's still committed to Mass Cyclone. Pushing up a ram. Shield batteries are finishing up. One of them barely was not in range though. Oh. Waterman shot not baited out. As Honmono is still looking for another way in. And Honmono, he's down to 28 SCVs. Oh my god, barely an economy, but he has mules. True. Does have mules. He can hold his own. Likewise, catching another Dragoon. Again, very efficient trades here from Honmono. He shuffles back the weakened Cyclones, shuffles forward the high HP Cyclones. And he's still just going pure Cyclone. Let's go. We're playing like it's the start of 2024. We're playing with the old Cyclone again. Kappa. This was a dark time in Legacy of the Void history, which was, you know, actually pretty recent as well, for those that remember. The previous iteration of the Cyclone and Mass Cyclone that was happening in every matchup, actually. And TVT turned into just Cyclone versus Cyclone. Again, this was just at the start of the year. This isn't quite that, but you know. It's giving me some PTSD, Pappy. Some PTSD. Oh, no. Cyclones are building up. Likewise, Ateshi attempting to stabilize, getting into his own Charge or Archon, which is going to be a much more efficient army composition. Against Dragoons, Cyclones, they do trade quite nicely. Against Charge, though, it's less so. And that's what we need, really, here. More than anything, is going to be those Charge thoughts. Shot goes off. Reconnection. Gets the Cyclone. Zealot legs are now researched. Shuttle's on the way. There was a bit of a misrally there, and we could have saved it with the shuttle. No. But did kill his own Zealot. Uh-oh. He's moving up the shuttle. The Cyclones are in position. No, not like this. The shuttle. Shuttle goes down. 2 Reavers as well. That was 2 Reavers. That's what Homeowner was looking for. That's what he wanted, Pappy. He takes down both Reavers. Pushes through. Getting on top of the Dragoons. Trying his best here to trade. Once again, the Zealot's doing a great job at tanking those lock-ons. Does tank as best he can. Mind shot going off. Ateshi is holding. Is holding on for the time being, but his Reaver count was completely reset. Oh. And Homeowner is making 6 Cyclones at a time. Ah, no. Not like this, Pappy. Not like this. Reavers a do poke in. Oh, once again trading with those Zealots. Rotating around. Likewise, DT Harassir across the map. Gets a couple of SCVs, but a Homeowner he is for the most part in position. This in position does keep up. Catching more transfer workers. Again, this is just a brutal angle here for Ateshi to defend. Bleeding out more Zealots. Trading with the army. As Homeowner, he has 2 massive groups of Cyclones now. One on the left, one on the right. Gonna be diving in. Up. Bleeding out a Cyclone, bleeding out 2. At the same time, pushes on forward. Oh, gets a High Templar. There's 3 High Templar left. Sorry, 4 left even. Again, this brutal army is just so much more immobile. And Homeowner is just trying to abuse that. Oh god, getting another Dragoon. But again, this is the reason why something like Mass Cyclone is more viable here against brutal units. As you can imagine, charge lots are quite different between SE2 and Brood War, for example. Where here they're just a little bit faster. The ability charge itself in SE2 allows Zealots to close the distance and get on top of the Cyclones. Likewise, Stalkers can blink, they can break lock-ons or dive on Cyclones. Here, Dragoons, much less mobile, right? They don't really have that kind of capability here. Because of that, this Gateway army is just having a bit of a harder time against the Cyclones. It's having a much harder time. But we have Storms at least. The Storms are here. Not again! Oh my god. Calm down. Don't lose the shuttle. Not again, Bobby. Not again. Ateshi, be careful. As the Reavers are like, well, there's at least one Reaver behind this. Homeowner still maintaining map control. His army is spotted by the Dark Templar. Ateshi going into Sky Toss, at least trying to. Stargates are on the way. Up. Masha going up. Likewise, Blue Flame run by into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Oh my god. 7 workers do fall. The probes themselves, they will clean this up. They will be able to hold their own. But that's still 9 probe kills. Ateshi breaks out. Does try to break out. Again, there are at least storms behind this to support the army. Honmono, he is now incorporating more Hellions and Widow Mines. Fleet Beacons on the way. Carrier. I have yet to see proper Skytoss or late game Skytoss in SE Evo. I've not seen Carrier in StarCraft Evolution yet. Can we get there? As Cyclones, they do once again hit the 3rd base. Ateshi out of position. Remember, there's no recall. No without an Arbiter. So Honmono, he forces the entire army back home. Oh no! The shuttle! Brutal Locals. The shuttle goes down! 4 High Templar! No! Bobby! Ateshi losing 2 full shuttles this game, and he doesn't get a single storm off. May, we gotta stop. We gotta stop making. It's not working. It's not paying off, Bobby. Stop making shuttles. It's hurting you more than anything. Another shuttle's on the way. Once again, I imagine with more High Templar. Cyclones poking in. +1 ship weapons on the way. Carriers soon to it. Let's go. The carriers are coming. At the same time, another Blue Flame run by. Oh my god, the probes are stacking up. They light up 15 probes and 2 volleys. 19. 3 volleys, they get 20 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. I think she's being pulled apart. Again, this is just such a mobile army that he's up against. Honmono poking back in, back out, time and time again. Ateshi cannot keep up. Tanks have now arrived. Honmono switching into tank production. Master Tank Boy is going off. Drilling Claws is done. Once again coming in. The first storm. First storm gets placed, but Cyclones, they avoid the storm damage. Oh, more storms though. Finally they pop off. They shut down some of the Cyclones. But it doesn't matter at this point because the economy has been crippled. Honmono rallying across the map. Widow Mines are restarting. They are resetting. They're ready for another shot. Oof. Oh my god. Massive Tank Boy is going off on the Dragoons. Mine shots as well. 4th base under fire. And Ateshi's just bleeding out too many units, bleeding out too many gateway units here. The carriers, they finally arrive, but it's only 2 carriers, and I guess Matt Cyclone, I mean, Cyclones, they shoot up. GG gets called. We don't get to experience the carrier, and Honmono takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Honmono will take a lead here in the series. And yeah, unfortunately, Ateshi was never able to stabilize. So was never able to stabilize, never able to really get map control away from Honmono. Just the mass cycle and harass and aggression was just too much. On top of that, didn't help either that Ateshi lost two Reavers in a shuttle and 4 High Templar in a shuttle as well. It was brutal to see those losses. It did set him back. Without them, I believe that was the goal, to get into whether it's Storm or Reavers, splash damage regardless, to be able to use that as kind of like an anchor point to break out and to force back the Cyclones, but it never really came to pass, and GG. GG, well played. Honmono did successfully pull him apart, and now we are getting into game number 2. Let's go. We'll see if Ateshi can bring it back here and now, or if the series ends and we have Honmono making it through into the decider match instead. Storm animation is cool, 100%. I do enjoy this. Like the storm animation, it just hits different. it's just built different, Bobby. It hits hard and it hits fast. I don't know why, but it even just visually and the sound design as well, it just feels like the SA2 Storm just doesn't hit the same, you know? Doesn't quite hit the same, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right, or in the top center of Sylphid, we have the Brood War Protoss player, the pink Protoss. It is Ateshi. From South Korea, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Korean Terran player, the purple Terran, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. Go. As we settle into game 2, and welcome one and all to Sylphid. For those that maybe have not experienced this map before, this is a 3-player spawn map. 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in at top center, bottom left, or bottom right. So our players, it's on them to figure out where exactly their opponent is early on, and because of that, they can also go for otherwise more greedy builds and greedy openers, gambling a little bit, hoping that their opponent wouldn't be too cheesy or aggressive. Speaking of, hello probe, what's going on? Ateshi, okay, he's scouting. He's scouting. This makes sense. If you remember, in game 1, Ateshi also scouted, and he also shut down the proxy 3 racks of Honmono. He forced out the question mark. It looks like, once again, Ateshi is scouting for a proxy here in the center of the map. Again, Honmono has a reputation, so it makes sense to scout, and Honmono is opening up double gas into a factory. No proxy, though. No proxy for Honmono. No scout either. Honmono has not seen anything as to what's going on. He doesn't care. Does not care. Tadeshi, he's going to be checking that main base. Does confirm at least the production setup. Checking the vision here. Tadeshi, he did get eyes on the factory as well. So knows that for now, Honmono is on one base. For the time being. And we'll see if Honmono expands or if he goes for another production building. Uh-oh. 1-1-1. Hyper aggressive build here by Honmono. Massive delay on the command center on the CC with a 1-1-1. What are we going for exactly here? He's getting into an early Widowmine, into, I would imagine, a medevac, into an early drop. Marine Widowmine drop would make the most sense here for Honmono. And we'll see if Ateshi can piece it together and defend. We shall see. For the time being, opening up Dragoon into Dragoon range. Makes sense. First Widowmine does reveal itself here to the probe. We'll zone away. There's that medevac in production. Oh my god, okay. This is like borderline all in just because of how late the expansion is, but Honmono, he's going for the Fusion Core. Fusion Core into one base BC after the drop. Crazy build here by Honmono, going one base BC. We should be seeing a medevac, then an add-on swap to get the tech lab on the starport to go into BC production. And Ateshi, there would be no reason for him to think that this is coming his way. Like, this is a wild build. It is wild. Back at home, oh, interesting. Ateshi is going to be opening up Citadel. Citadel of Adun is on the way. What does this mean? This should lead into fast charge lots instead. So he's going to be rushing, I say charge lots, speed lots, maybe a better way of putting it. Rushing into Zealot legs. Meanwhile, the first drop has arrived. Again, Marine Widowmine. Now, the goal here should be to save the Widowmine. You don't want to waste the Widowmine on the probes. You want to save it for the Dragoon. At least that's typically how it's done in SE2. As probes are being targeted, Widowmine does burrow. And the shot, oh, doesn't want to be wasted here on the probe. Yep, goes to the Dragoon. Shot goes up. And that's going to be 7 probe kills so far. Can he get 8? Gets a Dragoon. Does get 8 workers. 9 even. Oh my god. 9 probes go down alongside 1 Dragoon. 10 workers in total. Pretty good value. Pretty good damage. Not just that. Honmono also scouts. He scouts. He confirms the Citadel of Adun as well. Is aware of the potential for speedlots. Likewise, back at home, very delayed CC. Very delayed command center here by Honmono, which means even though Honmono did a lot of economic damage, remember, he killed 10 probes, he is still behind in workers. Honmono, he's still down in SCVs because of how late his expansion is. So it is good damage, but he needs more. The reality is that Honmono, he needs more damage, and here comes the first BC teleporting into the natural. Teleports into natural, there we go, Zealot legs are on the way, as we did mention, with that Citadel. Dragoons are in the main, but they're not at the natural base, and probes are going to go down. Well, are they? Shield Battery putting in a lot of work. Shield Battery does save the mineral line. Dragoons do respond. So far, so good. The BC has not done enough damage, and Adeshi is holding. Adeshi does hold. Second BC's on the way. Adeshi responding with a Stargate. With this, he can get into Scouts, get into Corsairs. BC going for the probe. Up! Gets one. One probe goes down. More BCs on the way. Yamato as well. Finally, Homeowner here will eventually expand. But again, it's just a very late expansion. Very awkward build here from Homeowner. As he is taking the main. Still only the one Stargate. I mean, to be fair, Ateshi doesn't know that we have additional BCs on the way and that Yamato has been researched. Oh, until now. There we go. Yamato is revealed. First Dragoon goes down. Nice pickup. Scout is on the way. Scout is on the way. Second BC comes in to reinforce. Third battlecruiser is now in production. And behind this, fast third TC. Okay, so Homeowner is trying to recover. He's trying to build up. He's trying to recover and get into a third expansion. And because of all this BC harass, the Dragoons are stuck at home. They're stuck at home. Another Yamato goes off. Down to 2 Dragoons. The Shield Battery is not enough, and the Dragoon almost goes down. Nice pull away out of Ateshi. Ooh, another Dragoon falls. Entire army gets dragged over, and that means there's an opening here in the main. The Hellion drop. The Hellions, they bust into the middle. Probes are lighting up. No, they're lighting up. The probes, get out of here. 4 probe kills, 6 probes. Another volley goes off, 7 worker kills, and we might get an additional worker as well. Up to 8, up to 9. 9 probe kills. Scout does confirm the Stargate and Scout production. Second Stargate gets placed. And the BCs, they keep poking in. And they don't yet have the Yamato, but they're about to have one. Another Dragoon. Yamato's available. Another Dragoon kill. Just so much value here out of these BCs. Getting another probe. And they teleport back home. Once the Scouts arrive, they get the hell out of there. They teleport back, they repair, they top up. And the Homeowner, has he recovered? He's still down in SCVs, but he has mules. He has mules, so that can help him recover. Likewise, Tateshi, he was able to get his third base undisturbed. The third base was left completely alone. I believe Homeowner doesn't even know about it. Yeah, he hasn't even scouted. Ah, he's a diva enjoyer. Of course he is. God damn it. But he is unaware. And I have to be... I'm a little bit concerned here that Ateshi invests into too many Scouts. Scouts, I think they have their place, especially against 3 BCs. But he has to be very careful to overinvest, because outside of dealing with BCs, I mean, they don't really have much value. I say that is a 4th battlecruiser on the way. So Homeowner, I mean, he's committing quite hard to this. So, okay. There is definitely rationale here for the high Scout count. So far, so good. Building on more Scouts. Likewise, it's going to be a mech-based army here for Homeowner, most likely going to Mass Cyclone again. Most likely. As Scouts, oh, they do try to focus on the first BC, but they do need Dragoon support. Do quite a lot of damage. First BC has to teleport away. Second BC down to half HP, but the Yamato's a pop off and the Scouts go down. Rushing into Carrier? Oh my god. The Dragoons are now just going to be responding, but the BCs, they hold their own. Honestly, the damage output from these Scouts was not too bad at all, but unfortunately, they were still overwhelmed. And Dragoons are still trying to keep up. Meanwhile, another Hellion drop into the main. BCs, they rotate over towards the right-hand side. They will confirm carrier production, of course. Oh, that's going to be more probe kills. And again, Scouts, they don't really help support at all. Oh, they can shut down the medevac, though. BC's moving on the right-hand side. Nothing in position. Hellions, they got 5 probe kills in the main. 6 probe kills, even. BCs are diving in. Yeah, they do get on top of the 4th, and the 4th base is under fire. Do you see that she's trying to keep up? Does respond. So the base is getting low, though. Shields have been stripped away. Yamato on the Scouts. Oof. Ah, and the Nexus is gonna fall. Couple more volleys. It's so close. It survives. Just barely. Oh my god, never mind. The final Yamato goes off. The base goes down. And Homeowner, he escapes. Does get out of there. He's up to 5 battle cruisers. Jesus. That's a lot of BCs. Did the carriers finish? They did. I don't think these carriers can really do well for themselves. Not against this kind of army, not yet. If Adeshi can reset the BC count, then sure. Then I can have faith in these carriers. But until then, the scout count is being replenished. Dragoons are trying to keep up. And Homeowner once again is moving out with his battle cruisers. So 6 battle cruisers in production. Jesus. Getting up to 6 BCs is insane. Carrier production once again. I'm not too fond of this, I'll be honest. I'm not too fond of getting into carriers this quickly. I mean, we'll see. Hellions, they distract the Dragoons. Where are the scouts? There's just one. Oh, only 1 scout. Aye. Yeah, the scout falls. BCs, they dive into the main base. And I don't think carriers are the answer. They can just be Yamato down. Speaking of Yamato, going for the Stargates themselves. Making sure that carrier production does not continue. It does deny them. And he shuts down all 3 Stargates. They all fall. And that means that there is only Dragoons to defend. And as we've been saying, again, they are so immobile. We have more Stargates on the way. It looks like there might have been a bit of a pause there for a moment. Potentially. So those were fast messages. So Homeowner does rotate over towards the right-hand side. Going for the mineral line. Up. We get some probes. Not bad. 8, 9, 10 probes going down. 11 probe kills even. Good harass here from Honmono. Likewise coming in from the north. Reinforcing on the south. More Hellion Cyclone. Do I want to know how many BCs he has? He's on 7. 7 BCs. That's critical mass. That's critical mass of BC. At this point, I almost want to say that if 7 BCs fight this Protoss army, then the BCs will win on their own. Like, they don't even need the Hellion Cyclone support. They can just Yamato the carriers and then just have their way with the Dragoons. Speaking of, Yamato's going to be going up. Oh, he mules to repair. BCs are being kept up. Oh, there's going to be a TT response instead. But every single BC does survive. The mules are cleaned up by the Dark Templar. Morphing into Dark Archons, but likewise they're going to be targeted down as well. 1 BC goes down. 2 BCs. Let's go. He gets 2, he gets 3. Nice target firing out of Adeshi. Does target down 3 battle cruisers, but there's still 3 left. Oh my god. Still 3 remaining, and throughout all this, 10 Cyclones at a time. 10 Cyclones at a time here for Honmono. Aye. He's hunting down the BC, sorry, the carrier. He wants it. She's gonna get the hell out of here. At the same time, Mass Cyclone here on the right-hand side gets a mineral line. Oof. That's gonna be 15 and plus probes going down. And from here, it looks like Homeowner is snowballing out of control. He's snowballing out of control here. As a carrier falls to the Mass Cyclone. Again, carriers were not going to be the answer here. I mean, if we can hit critical mass, I do think they can trade well against Cyclone, but in small numbers like that, so they can just be bullied. They will just be bullied. As Homeowner looking for another another carrier. Doesn't quite get it. As they do push in. Denying an expansion. Ateshi is down to 3 bases. Down to a 3-base economy. Homeowner's got a 40 supply lead. And even though he may have lost a couple of BCs, he's still on 6. Still on 6 battle cruisers. He lost 3. As another expansion goes down. Dragoons, this time they're in position. Let's go. This time they're ready. Cyclones, they collapse on the carrier. 1, 2 carriers go. Yeah, they can just be chased down at this point. They can just be chased down. The Dark Archon, of course, is just purely a spellcaster. Just a supportive unit. GG gets called, and Honmono, he will snowball out of control. He will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the decider match. GG. Ooh. Oh my god. GG, well played. Ooh. Honmono does take the series 2-0, again flexing his mech, flexing his mass cyclone. I mean, this last game here, he was a lot more unorthodox, rushing into BCs on one base into a delayed expansion, and we saw how valuable those BCs were. It took so long to even kill the first BC. The first BC died like 3/4 of the way through the game. It was insane just how much value the BCs were getting. And again, a big reason for that, as I was saying before, a big reason, I mean, to the success of this playstyle from Honmono is just how immobile the Brood War Protoss army is. Towards the end, because of the higher supply, we saw that Adeshi was able to split up his army and be in position towards those final engagements, but towards the early to mid game, he just had a very hard time keeping up, and Honmono was just all over him. It's all over him. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Honmono does advance on to the decided match, and we have our next series upon us. Oh boy. The final series of Group D, it is going to be a TVZ between Dark and Honmono. And I'm excited because, if you recall, we casted Dark earlier against Euthermal, and even Dark against his previous opponent as well. We haven't really seen much Brood War Zerg out of Dark. We did see him go Mass Hydra previously against Adeshi. True. Did go Mass Hydra against Adeshi, but we haven't been able to see his Brood War Zerg against Terran yet. And I'm excited. I do want to see it. I hope to see it, I should say. Do hope to see it here as we are getting ready for that final series. Here we go. Meanwhile, my condolences to Adeshi. Again, he is a good player, but just a really unusual playstyle to play against, I'm sure. I would not be surprised if Adeshi just doesn't really have much experience playing against SC2 Mech and Mass Cyclone. He had his own good moments, don't get me wrong, but there were some really rough moments in Game 1 as well. I'm talking about losing the shuttle with the Reavers, losing the shuttle with the High Templar, like, my heart goes out to Adeshi, and I do look forward to seeing more of him in the future in upcoming SEL matches and SEL games. I'm referring to, next season here for, like, the Open Cups, for example, assuming that it continues. But for now, we have one series left. Let's go. Dark versus Honmono. Game 1 is going to be on Ley Lines. Getting into Game 1. Now, if this was purely SE2, Dark would be the heavy favorite. Because this is StarCraft Evolution, and because Dark is not the most experienced in this mod, suddenly upsets can happen. They've already happened. We've already seen Dark fall once in this matchup. Will he fall again? As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the Brood War Terran player from South Korea. Representing Team Hyper 1, it is Honmono. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, also from South Korea, representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. As we are going to be settling into our final best of 3 here of the night. And I'm curious if Dark has been humbled. What I will say, if you recall, Euthermal was hyper-aggressive. He was hyper-aggressive against Dark, especially in Game 1 and in Game 2. We basically saw all-ins out of Euthermal. Likewise, Honmono is a very similar player. As we just saw, he's very unorthodox, very cheesy, very aggressive. I expect all-ins from Honmono in this matchup as well. But in Game 1, no proxy. It is going to be a CC first. Okay. CC first out of Honmono. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas Pool out of Dark. So standard opener here from our SE2 Zerg player. Meanwhile, our Brood War Terran just opening up more economically. Here we go. But yes, we do have the StarCraft Evolution wiki that is up to date. True, it's exclamation mark SC. Oh, what is the? Okay, we have a command. Oh, we have a command to the Patreon, of course. As we look to wrap up this group, and as we look to wrap up the group stage of StarCraft Evolution, if you want to help support the development here of StarCraft Evolution, you can do so via the Patreon. You can see Team Kaprulu SE2 on Patreon is to help support the development. So if you want the again attention and the devotion that the developers and the modders have been working on StarCraft Evolution to continue, then do consider the Patreon. Likewise, you can see here Evo LP in the chat does give you a link to the Wikipedia as well, so you can kind of go into the nitty-gritty, into the details of the units themselves, of all the changes as well. Bearing in mind that StarCraft Evolution Brood War is not the same as regular Brood War. It is patched and it is balanced to actually be more, to be balanced against StarCraft 2. So it is not a carbon copy of the original. It has been adjusted, has been adapted. As Homeowner does go CC first into a 3-Rax follow-up in towards Stim. Stim is on the way. So going to be 3-Rax Stim here from the Terran. Meanwhile, oh my god, that is a fast Baneliness. And Dark, he's going for a Bane Bust. He's going for a Bane Bust. Oh my god, the aggression is real. And I mean, we knew that this series would be a fast one here. Dark is looking to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, a big shout out to, oh my god. To Pezavenge in the chat. Gab, Abigail, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Papi, thank you. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft Evolution as well, as we do cast on a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings, and I hope you enjoy the content. Thank you. Thank you, Papi, thank you. Do appreciate the support. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. As Dark, he's committed to the Bane Bust. The Bane Bust is upon us. Homeowner moves out. And things are about to get rowdy here as the Banelings are across the map. Lings, they run into the Marines. Nice Stim here. Goes stepping out of a Hon Mono, but the medivac gets surrounded. Sorry, the medic does go down. And Darky's chasing down the remaining Marines. At the same time, the Banelings are holding up, holding their own. Marines are cleaned up, and Dark can commit. And what is there at home to defend? Almost nothing. Marines have to try to focus down those Banelings. They're pushing forward. Nice stepping here out of Hon Mono. Does pull back. But Banelings, they still lead the charge here. A couple more Lings trickling in. Nice kiting here against the Lings themselves. But the Banelings, they go for the mineral line. They're going for the SEVs. Oh, and no, they hooked them. No, Hon Mono. The A move of the SCVs. He hugs the Banelings, and every SCV goes down. And that's going to be a game. That's going to be too much. Lings, they keep flooding in, and there's nothing left here in the main. GG Dark. He will take game number 1. Oh my god. I think that was a misclick. I don't think it was intentional for Hon Mono to A move with the SCVs. That was unfortunate. So the SCVs were on A move, which means they just attacked the Banelings. They come in for a big group hug, and the Banelings, they got too excited. Did get too excited. They shut every single SCV down, and GG well played with that. Dark takes the lead. Whew. Dark does take a lead here. No GG, no GG, yeah. Hon Mono, not too happy about that game, not too happy about that game state. I mean, Hon Mono was going for his own aggressive build, and he got caught with his pants down. You know, he got out-aggressed, if you will. Dark did hit first, did hit harder, did hit faster, and now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the once again SC2 Zerg, as his opponent did pick Brood War, representing Talon Esports, 1 game away from qualifying and making it into the playoff bracket. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player, the Red Terran from representing Team Hyper 1 from the land of South Korea. It is Hon Mono. And he's just putting it all on the line here with the Proxy 3-Rax. 3 Raxes have been thrown down. This is going to be Proxy 3-Rax Master Marine, Bunker Rush. Bunker is going to be upon us as well. It's going to be all or nothing here for Hon Mono, and it's going to be on Dark to scout this. Now, the Overlord is on the way. And looking at the pathing, the Overlord will confirm. So very good movement here from Dark. It is not uncommon for your for the first Overlord to move out, and for the second Overlord to scout the third base for a proxy. And this is a very common location, so yeah, just a solid start here from Dark. He will confirm, and we'll see how he responds. As Dark will get eyes on all these Raxes, that is merely the beginning here of the defense. Knowing is half the battle. The other half is going to be the execution of the defense. As Marines are amassing, Overlord should be headed towards the pillar here to be safe against the Marines. And the boys are being told, oh, this I'm less certain of, but Dark, he's going to be proactive here. He's going for the dive. The Raxes are done. The Raxes are completed here. He's going for the SCVs to deny the bunkers. Marines are popping out. Bold move here by Dark. Does he get a straight? He does! Oh my god, he surrounds one Marine. One Marine gets surrounded. The other takes some hits. Again, Dark is trying to camp at those Raxes. Second Marine has arrived. Another Marine gets surrounded. Oh, another Marine falls. And it's being shut down. It's being shut down. One drone falls. But Dark, he is cleaning this up. Only one Marine left, now down to 2. Just again, a really proactive style here by Dark. So risky. I mean, if Dark didn't get this round, this could have been game, but he gets every single Marine. The drone control. My god, he's crazy. Spine crawlers on the way. Lings are coming out as well. He wants that final Marine, and once again he surrounds. Once again the full surround. And now he leaves. Now he backs off, but he has bought enough time, because what is it to defend? Lings. Lings have arrived, and they will shut this down. They come in for a flank, getting on top of the Marines and the SCVs. Oh my god. And Dark, he's looking confident, Pappy. A confident defense. He gets all the SCVs. No bunkers. 3 SCVs go down, no bunkers. 2 Lings, they keep moving out across the map to try and harass the mineral line. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Dark. As Dark, he's got Queen, or he's soon to have Queens on the way. Never mind, still just Lings. Just Lings, and the Spine Crawler collapses on what little Marines are left. Cleans them up. And yeah, this was just a really bold defense out of Dark to pull the boys. If Dark didn't surround the Marines, if the Marines were able to bank up over time, like 2 and 3 Marines, that could have been game. That could have been game then and there. It was just so risky from Dark, but he pulled it off. Did pull it off, collapses on the Marines once again, and he just camped the production. That's all he has to do, just camp the production at this point. All he does need to do. We have an academy on the way to get into Stim. Bold move out of Honmono. Marines, they keep trickling out, and they're just being thrown away. They're just being thrown away here to the army of Dark. And Dark behind this, he's droning. He's droning up, he's saturating bases, getting into gas, getting into either roaches or link speed. Whichever he so chooses, going for the Rax. That's going to be a kill. Oh my god, it's going to be a kill on that Rax. It's going to burn down. There's no saving it. Up, down to 3, 2, 1. First Rax burns down. And there's no production. There's 0 production. There's 0 units here for Honmono. I love that Dark actually chases these Raxes as well with 2 Lings to make sure they don't land. They don't land. They don't start reproducing once again. Lings are knocking down that front door. There's a wall of Raxes on the way. Stim is in production. And these Raxes might just be forced to be cancelled. And I'm curious if Dark does go for Banelings or for a Roach Warren. We'll see. I would assume Roach Warren. Now Link Speed is on the way. Rax is still floating back home. Dark is chasing them. The Rax on the right-hand side might be targeted down. It's getting very low. The Rax. Oh, it looks like it's going to be targeted down. Yeah, will not finish. Massive pickup. That's a kill, not a cancel. Lings, they flood in. They bust into the main base. There's 1 Marine in production. And the boys have to be pulled away. Oh, the drone drilling. The SCV drilling. Tries to micro against the Lings, but SCVs are going down. Brutal losses here for Honmono. Bleeding out 5. Soon to be 6 SCV kills. 1 Marine has arrived. 2 Marines. So Firebat has arrived. Let's go. Firebat is here. I'll be honest, I love the look of this Firebat. It looks so much like a Space Marine from Warhammer 40k. Like, it looks so good. Like, it looks like a little, like a Warhammer figurine that you paint, you know? It's the shoulder pads. I love the shoulder pads. Let's go. They're so small as well. Like, they look more stout than the Marine. Overlord goes down, and Honmono holds. Honmono, he barely holds on. And behind this, again, Dark is double expanding, getting a third base, getting a fourth base at the same time. He's got his queens droning up. I was curious when it comes to his tech of choice, and it is a Baneling Nest, not a Roach Warren. So it's going to be Ling Bane out of Dark. He's looking perfectly in control here. And how does Homeowner recover? One base all in. He's got 2 more Raxes, 4 in total. Expanding here is going to be a very tough ask. He's working on, I believe that is a Marine Range, and he'll try to move out. Same Marine Range. I believe the upgrade is, it's called like it's like an ammo type, if I remember correctly. Regardless, is working on it. And we'll see if Homeowner can bring this all together. We shall see. Best of luck. Yeah. Like I can't quite remember the name, but it's like an ammo type. It's U238 shells. There you go. I'm never gonna remember that. I'm just gonna call it like the ammo upgrade. But yes, that's what it is. I was in my brain. I was thinking like 69mm or something. Like I don't know. Something like that. You know what it is. There you go. CC is on the way for Homeowner, so he's attempting to re-establish himself. He's expanding, going for the natural. Likewise, scan into the main, doesn't really see much. I mean, there is no lair, true. No lair yet for Dark. He's going for his own push. Dark, he's cutting workers. Honestly, if Dark wanted to, he could drone. He could drone up to 3 base saturation, but he is cutting workers, and Dark is going for his own all-in. He doesn't need to, but Dark, he wants to end the game. He's got a massive amount of Ling Bane. Only 36 drones for Dark. And there is a chance for Homeowner to defend if he gets bunkers. If he gets bunkers, and if he's able to get some really good fire bat shots off, then he could hold. First him. Dark is still committed. That's how many Banelings? 33. 33 Banelings against 22 Marines. Homeowner, he does move out, which means he's out of the open, which means he can be surrounded. And here we go. The Banelings, they collapse in. They shut down the fire bats. They shut down the medics. And the Marines are going to try to kite back as best they can, but they can only kite for so long. Oh my god. Medics go down. At the same time, Lings, they just hit the natural. Once again, nice auto stepping here against the Banelings. I mean, they're going to trade quite well here. Banelings back off. Oh, they won't land. No, not again. Not again. They get into the mineral line. This time the boys are pulled away, but still massive connections. 17 SCVs go down. 18 SCVs. And Darky floods in with the Lynx. He's going for the kill. Again, Homeowner, his tournament life is on the line. I don't blame him for staying in this game. But it's such an uphill battle. Bailey's volleying into the middle line for the second time. Oh no, the Marines! Oh, they're heavily overstimmed. They get shut down. Mass GG as Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the playoffs. GG. GG, well played, Dark. He will take it 2-0. A very chaotic series, very intense best of 3. But Dark, he does survive the aggression, the chaotic nature that is Honmono, and he does come out on top. Congratulations, my condolences to Honmono, but he just aped it up. I do wish that we got a little bit more of game 1. I do still feel like the highlight of the night, for me at least, was game 1 between Euthermal and Honmono. That was peak StarCraft. If you maybe tune in a little bit later, I do recommend the VODs. I recommend tuning into that series between Euthermal and Honmono. I think that was the only game that went the distance and was like a proper like back and forth macro game. It was mech versus mech, Brood War Terran versus Brood War SE2, and it was a really cool dynamic between the two of them. A lot of these other matches were hyper aggressive and cheesy, and they ended quite quickly. Some pretty fast matches. For comparison, last night we casted Group C. It lasted 4 hours. It was a 4-hour cast for Group C, which is standard, which is what we expect. We've been live for 2.5 hours, less than 3 hours. Less than 3 hour cast, so a very short group, very short broadcast here, less than 3 hours for all 5 best of 3s. And that's just because of just how many all-ins we had, how aggressive these players were, specifically Honmono, Euthermal, and Dark. Ateshi was the odd one out. Ateshi just wanted to macro. Ateshi, he just wanted to macro. He just wanted to make bases and get into the mid game and get into the late game. He just wanted to play some StarCraft, and no one else in the group wanted that either. They denied that entirely. So I do feel a little bit bad for Ateshi. He was unfortunately he was seeded into a group of animals, into just a group of apes. So. My heart goes out to Ateshi. Regardless, GG, well played. Shout out to Blaker Dudes in the chat. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Gah, papi, gah. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. And with that, we can have a look at the group itself. We can catch up on what occurred here in this group. Let's switch our scenes over and have a gander. As you can see here, we have Dark. Dark took down Ateshi 2-0. Euthermal took down Homono 2-1, went all the way to the ace match. And out of all players, the Dark Horse himself, Euthermal. Euthermal was the one to win it out in the end. He came out in first place out of Group D. And who came out in second? It was Dark, as Homono took down Ateshi 2-0. Dark took down Homono 2-0, as we just saw. And those are our top two players, Euthermal and Dark. Congratulations. My condolences to both Homono and Ateshi. They are knocked out. Thanks for the cards, Avex. Thank you, Avex. Thank you. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Once again, a big shout out to Avex for all the work that he's done in the history of StarCraft and for SC Evo as well. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you've done when it comes to porting over maps and when it comes to helping support the StarCraft evolution scene. Thank you so much. Thank you. And now that we have wrapped up the group, I believe we can have a look at the Wikipedia page. Oh my god, before we have a look at the Wikipedia page, a big shout out to Kaprulu in the chat. Thank you so much. I believe Kaprulu Cat is the director of... Oh god, I'm gonna have to get this right. I want to say the art director? I want to say the director of the art director of StarCraft Evolution. I do apologize if I've mistaken your role. You can correct us, of course, but big part of StarCraft Evolution. Thank you so much for all the work that you have done as well. Thank you. Do appreciate it, Cat. Do appreciate it. More recently, we've actually I guess for better or for worse, I don't know how much influence that we had, but recently we did have an update for the Defiler Mound. The Defiler Mound was updated and has been rejuvenated as well. Up until recently, it was just a reused Roach Warren, but now has a proper unique asset. So thank you so much for the work that you've done, and thank you so much for the new Defiler Mound. Thank you. Oh my god. Let's go. Should be going live in a couple of hours. Yeah. Should be going live in a couple of hours, which means we can go over the bracket itself. I have not looked whatsoever. I have no idea what the bracket looks like. Give me a moment to set up the overlay. Un momento. There we go. Okay. Hold on, I have to get rid of the frame. Beautiful. Okay, so we just wrapped up the group stage. We have casted every group as well. If you missed out, I do recommend checking out the VODs, whether it's here on Twitch or over on YouTube. VODs are available already, so you can go over to YouTube to check out those VODs. The group stage has concluded, and now we can embrace the playoff bracket. Here we go. We have our top 8 players. Oh my god, that's a lot of mirror matchups. Okay. So we have on one end, we have our Zerg competitors. Oh, Shin and Dark in the upper quarterfinals. That is a brutal first round match. Fun. I do favor Shin there. But at the same time, Dark is an animal. He's a beast. You can never count him out. That is going to be a wild DBZ. On top of that, 3-point is also on the same half of the bracket. Yo. Who made this bracket? Who seeded this bracket? All 3 Zerg players are on the same side, and all 3.5 Terrans are on the same side as well. Jesus, the TVTs are going to be crazy. So mass TVT down here, mass ZVZ up here, and then we have Classic in the middle. We have we have the Lone Protoss and Classic. So going over it again, we have Shin versus Dark in the upper quarterfinals, followed by 3-point versus Classic. That's going to be a really good match. I'll be honest. That is, so far, That is the highest profile match that I've seen. Classic and 3-point, I think they're very close in skill in the SE Evo mod, so best of luck. Scrolling down, we have Uwu Thermal versus Killian in the quarterfinals. That's going to be a spicy one as well. Uwu Thermal did show us his prowess and his skill in TBT earlier. He looked very good against Hon Mono. I do look forward to the TBT there. And scrolling down, we have Quanta versus Spirit. I do favor Quanta there. We did cast Spirit during the week. We did cast him in Group C. And Spirit did look rusty in the sense that it looked like Spirit wasn't really too familiar with StarCraft Evolution. He did make it through the group stage, true, but it did look like he was kind of playing a little bit on the fly and trying to figure things out as he was playing. So I have to respect Quanta. I gotta respect Quanta there, and I do think he will have the edge, but I do think that Spirit can definitely pose a threat. In general, I don't think we should have any clean sweeps here. I'm expecting back and forth matches, and as a reminder, the quarterfinals, best of 5s. These are best of 5s. Then we have best of 7 semis and a best of 7 grand finals as well. I believe the quarterfinals are going to be played out in a couple of hours. We will not be casting it live. I believe Biomorph is going to be the official English caster. We're going to be casting these playoff brackets, the quarterfinals, tomorrow. So basically a couple of hours after the quarterfinals finish their live broadcast, once the replays are available, we will go live ourselves. It looks like, let's just see here. It looks like this quarterfinals is in 9 hours. So in 9 hours time is going to be the quarterfinals. We are going to be live here on this channel with the quarterfinals in like maybe like 18 hours. Something no, not 18 hours. Like 21, like around 21 hours time. So basically at the same time that we went live today. The same time we went live today, we're going to be live tomorrow with these matches. But again, they're going to be replays. They're going to be via replays instead, but they're only going to be a couple of hours old. You know, right, hot off the presses. Hot off the presses, we're going to have those replays, and we'll be covering this in around 21 or so hours. That is the plan. That is the plan. Also, shout out to Rowdy. God, Papi girl, 15 months. Thank you for the support, Papi. Thank you so much for the support. Always, Rowdy, always. Thank you so much. Gracias. We just wrapped up today, but thank you so much for the support. I was bullied into adding. I didn't bully anyone. the slander, the no bullying whatsoever. I reject that. But yeah, so if you want to tune in live to this group, to the playoff brackets, do check it out in 9 hours. If you want to watch it here on the CranKy Ducklings, we're going to be live in 21 hours time. So we got you covered with the quarterfinals. Likewise, it's going to be very similar with the semifinals as well, where we will be casting it a couple of hours after the end of the live broadcast. That is the plan. Whew. So yeah, with that, we are going to be wrapping up here for the morning. Again, a bit of a shorter broadcast here today, just because, you know, it was a shorter group because of all the cheese, all of the aggression, just under 3 hours. Regardless, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you all enjoyed yourselves tuning in. I hope you all had a great time here. And again, if you enjoy the casting, if you enjoy the content, you can support us by following us on all the social medias. Exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. We have a Mastodon, we have a Blue Sky, we have everything here, so you can of course follow us. We do post when we go live. Likewise, you can interact with us via Discord. You can join our Discord server, and you can also support us in another fashion as well via Patreon. Either Patreon or by subscribing on Twitch, you can gain benefits. We do give replay packs to our subscribers and patrons, and all the money that we make on Patreon goes towards our tournaments, as we do host events on a weekly basis. Tomorrow, we're going to be live at around the same time that I believe the semifinals of SEL are live. We are going to be casting our own tournaments. We are going to be casting the Sparkling Tuna Cup. That is not StarCraft Evolution, that is StarCraft 2. So tomorrow, we're going to be casting a StarCraft 2 Open Cup in Sparkling Tuna Cup, and it's after that we're going to be catching up with those replays. So again, plenty of content coming up ahead of us. It's going to be the end of StarCraft Evolution 4 Championship, alongside the Open Cups like Wardy TV Monday, Sparkling Tuna Cup, Pigo Store Monday, and we also have the Elite League November Finals on Tuesday. So, oh boy, that's going to be a lot of StarCraft this week. Also, before I forget, Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup is next week. We will be a community stream. We're going to be a side stream for Home Story Cup. So if you want to tune in, we're also going to be live here on the channel as well, covering as much Home Story Cup as we can. Oh boy, so a lot. It's going to be an intense week. It's a very intense week of StarCraft. Follow us if you wish. We'll see you guys next time, I suppose. We'll see you guys next time for some more StarCraft action. Before I head off though, I haven't laddered StarCraft in far too long. I've been busy. I've been a little bit too busy. I just haven't had a chance to ladder, to hit that ladder, to touch the game. I do miss it dearly. So if you are interested, I'm going to be going live on my personal channel. And we will hit that ladder. We're going to be having a ladder session. We're going to be streaming, and we'll see how far we fall. Let me just double check. When was the last time I laddered? It hasn't been that long. 8 days. It's been over a week. It's been over a week since we last laddered. Again, I do apologize for being inactive. It's just, you know, there's been we've been focusing on, we've been working on other things. We've been casting a lot this week as well, so I just haven't had as much time to ladder. So now is the time to have a cheeky ladder session and to smurge, baby, and to have all this. Let's go. So we'll see you there. I'll see you there. See you there over my personal channel if you do want to tune in. To have you covered with some StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the StarCraft Evolution Full Championship quarterfinals. See you then. See you then.
News that